And that blocked down in front, rebound scores! Evan Oakley, here's Farmer on a breakaway, Farmer scores! Short-handed break, Benzine in on Zebnik. Oh, and a great left pad save there. Shot deflected, they score! Collins stopped short-handed.
You're listening to Wildcats Hockey, presented by Armored Roofing on the Wildcats Broadcast Network.
The 2014-15 regular season is in the books, and now it's time for playoff hockey to take the North American Hockey League by storm. The chase for the Robertson Cup gets going right here tonight at the K. Yeager Coliseum. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the broadcast. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Thursday evening plans, a Thursday evening to get us going in the 2015 quest for the Robertson Cup. Well, here's what it's going to boil down to for the Wildcats. If they're going to lift that cup here in 2015, they're going to need to win 5 series over the next 6 weeks, which will translate to 12 wins. No matter how they get, no matter how they accumulate, no matter what the order, 12 wins will see the Wildcats win their first Robertson Cup in season history, or in franchise history, I should say. But there's a whole lot of things to get to before the Wildcats can even begin to think about a Robertson Cup championship. It starts tonight with a first round play-in matchup. A best-of-3 series gets underway tonight with Game 1 against the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. It's a 3-versus-6 matchup here in the South Division. The Wildcats coming in as the number 3 seed, getting games 1 and 2 at home. Any potential game 3 would be at the State Farm Arena in Hidalgo, Texas on Monday, April 6th. The Wildcats, and actually for that matter, the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees, hoping that it doesn't get that far. The Wildcats ended the season on a bit of a down note, getting swept by the Lone Star Brahmas last Friday and Saturday in North Richland Hills. However, the sense around the Wildcats team and around the locker room between the players and coaches was that they were fairly content with how they played in that second game, that 2-1 loss on Saturday. They just didn't get the bounces that they were hoping for and looking for, and one moment of indiscretion behind the cage in the second period proved to be the difference maker in favor of the Brahmas. But the Wildcats are coming off of their best regular season in franchise history. 39-16-5 are the Wildcats this season. That set a new record for most wins in a single season, and they are also 21-6-1 here at the K. Yeager Coliseum, setting a record for most wins in this building in a single season. Not only that, it's a 10-win improvement from their mark of just 11 wins in this building last year. So, how things change from one year to the next for the Wildcats, and they'll be hoping that they can reclaim that home ice advantage that saw them win 11 straight in this building in the first half of the season. However, their last home game on March the 11th against the Amarillo Bulls did not go so well for the Wildcats. They got out to an early 1-0 lead, but from there they were playing catch-up as Amarillo took the lead and really took advantage of some defensive miscues by the Wildcats to take a 5-4 win, and I think that game was really a wake-up call for the Wildcats. They know that they are not going to have any easy games, and obviously Coach LaFontaine and Coach Saransky were trying to drive that point home throughout the second half of the season. It took a little bit of time to set in what they were trying to say, but it seems like over the last few weeks, the Wildcats are really starting to buy in to having to play defensive-minded, simpler hockey. And that's really what the playoffs boil down to. You can't run and gun. You can't stretch play as much as you might in the regular season because you're going to leave yourself exposed at the back. And while you might get away with some of those mistakes in the regular season, when it's playoff time, if you make a mistake, the other team more often than not is going to capitalize on it. So the Wildcats are going to be looking to play perfect defense or mistake-free hockey here this evening. A couple of guys who are going to play a big boost, if that would be the case, Matt Cook and Cam Knight. Now they're split up on the defensive pairings, at least on the line chart. We'll see if that will stay the case throughout the season, throughout the contest, I should say, as Matt Cook and Cam Knight have been the Wildcats' top defensemen all season long, and over the last 10 games, things have not been going as well for those two as the Wildcats would like. Over the last 10 games, Cam Knight is a -4. Over the last 10 games, Matt Cook is a -2. And for a guy that was plus 32 on the season, the fact that he's got a net minus over the last couple of weeks is not a good sign for the Wildcats. But we saw some signs that those two were starting to get themselves back to the form that they displayed in the first half of the season. And what would that mean for the Wildcats if those two are up to playing to the level that they know they are capable of, well, it gives them the two best defensemen in the entire North American Hockey League, and there's no understating what kind of boost that would be for the Wildcats. On the other side of the ice, Rio Grande Valley comes into this one as one of the hotter teams in the division in the second half of the season. Rio Grande Valley in the second half of the year, after a bit of a sluggish start, went 15-9-5 over the final 3 months of the campaign after starting just 10-16-5. A lot of that is down to Anthony Crossan has been solid, but the other part of it is that Rio Grande Valley is starting to buy into the identity that Coach Joe Coombs has been trying to set forth from the beginning of the season. They like to play tight defensive hockey. They like to clog things up through the neutral zone. They like to slow the other team down and not let them rush up and down the ice and into the offensive zone. So the Wildcats, if they're not able to skate through the traffic, are going to have to find a plan B here this evening if they are going to get themselves into the offensive zone. And that's something that we saw challenge the Wildcats when they were playing Rio Grande Valley back down in Hidalgo at the State Farm Arena on March 19th and 20th. The Wildcats, they took 4 points out of an available 6 as they finished up a 3-0 win, turned it into a 4-0 win, but then they dropped an overtime contest and then a shootout contest the next night. And the key takeaway there, aside from the fact that the Wildcats fell behind 2-0 early on in both of those contests, was the fact that they had trouble getting into the offensive zone. Only a small handful of times on that weekend did we see the Wildcats skate through traffic in the neutral zone and into the offensive zone with any sort of speed and calm possession of the puck. Maybe once Konstantin Chernyuk, when he scored in that Saturday or that Friday contest on the 20th, Austin Bolio maybe a couple of other times, but for the most part, Rio Grande Valley was doing a very solid job of clogging things up at their defensive blue line and giving the Wildcats something to think about. We'll see what they're going to go to with a plan B here, but what it all boils down to is something that Coach LaFontaine has been talking about over the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's talking about the idea that it is easier to rein the horses in late on in the season than it is to try and do it late on in the playoffs. He's let this team be creative. He's let them create plays. He's let them run and gun and stretch the play throughout the season, but over the last few weeks, he started to try and rein things in, play more controlled, more systematic, and more confident and defensive-minded hockey over the last few weeks for the Wildcats. We'll see if there is a benefit here tonight. Let's get our starting lineups now, brought to you by Pelicans Restaurant, located at 2301 Midwestern Parkway, across from Midwestern State University. Pelicans Restaurant offers Texoma, the choicest beef, freshest fish, and the area's best wine list. Next time you're in the Falls, be sure to stop by and see our friends at Pelicans Restaurant for fine dining and a family atmosphere. First for the starting lineups for the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees on the left wing. It'll be number 17, Cam Black. Black on the year has 31 points on 17 goals and 14 assists. However, since being acquired from the Tomahawks, he has 8 points on 3 goals and 5 assists in 16 games played. Black stands at 5'9", 170 pounds, and hails from Lake Forest, Illinois. Center will be number 6, Logan Wendling. Wendling on the year has 8 points on 3 goals and 5 assists for the Killer Bees. 11 points total on 5 goals and 6 assists. Wendling, out of Fairbanks, Alaska, stands at 5'10", 170 pounds. On the right wing, it's Dallas G-Rats who leads this Rio Grande Valley squad in goals scored with 20. 31 points on the year total, 20 goals, 11 assists for the right winger, who hails from Blaine, Minnesota, and stands at 5'9", 175. On the left point for Rio Grande Valley, it'll be Kevin Clare, number 5, 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Clare on the season, just 4 points on 2 goals and 2 assists. However, one of those goals was the overtime winner against the Wildcats back on March the 19th. On the right side of the blue line, it'll be Daniel Nilsson out of Oskarshamn, Sweden, 6'1", 195 for Nilsson, who's got 7 points on 4 goals and 3 assists in 25 games played. And in net for the Killer Bees will be Ben Johansson. Johansson, 6'2", 185 out of Tabi, Sweden. On the season, he has a record of 15-9-5 with a .268 goals against average and an .891 save percentage. Johansson, as we mentioned, standing at 6'2", 185. Head coach of the Killer Bees is Joe Coombs. Assistant coach is Brad Lutch and Josh Brown. Now the starting lineup for your Wichita Falls Wildcats. On the left wing, it'll be Austin Bolio, a guy the Wildcats need to see get going. Just 1 goal in his last 10 games. He finished the year with 55 points on 22 goals and 33 assists. Standing at 5'9", 170 out of Coral Springs, Florida. Bolio is committed to Alabama Huntsville for 16-17. Center will be number 9, Colin Staub. 60 points on the year for Colin to lead the Wildcats. 26 goals, 34 assists for Staub out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Standing at 6'1", 195. He'll head to the Air Force Academy next year. On the right wing, it'll be Nikita Litviak out of Moscow, Russia. 34 points on the season in 58 games played on 13 goals and 21 assists. Standing at 6'1", 190. Litviak wears number 25. On the blue line, it'll be Matt Cook on the left side for the Wildcats, the Air Force Academy commit, tied for the league lead in defensive scoring with 51 points on 7 goals and 14 assists, standing at 6'1", 195. Cook hails from Hastings, Minnesota. On the right side of the blue line will be Cam Knight, wearing number 2, 6'1", 190, out of North Reading, Massachusetts, bound for Alabama Huntsville next season. He's got 33 points on the year on 9 goals and 24 assists. And starting in net for the Wildcats, number 1, Austin Shaw, 6'4", 205 pounds, out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. 26, 9, and 3 on the year was Shaw with a 288 goals against and a 902 save percentage. Head coach of the Wildcats is John LaFontaine in his first season. Assistant coach is Chris Saransky in his second campaign. Those are the starting lineups brought to you by Pelicans Restaurant. As that'll do it for us here on the pregame show. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have opening face-off between your Wildcats and the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. Playoff hockey in the North American Hockey League is moments away. The chase for the Robertson Cup is straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. Don't miss a moment of the action as Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing. We'll be back just after this on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Good evening to you from high above the ice level at the K. Yeager Coliseum. It's time for Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing and a playoff edition of Wildcats Hockey at that. 2015 Robertson Cup playoffs is moments away from getting underway. The Wildcats in their home white sweaters skating from right to left across your screen. That's PDQ across your keyboard. If you're joining us on the Wildcats Broadcast Network, coming back the other way, the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees wearing their road black sweaters with the turquoise shoulder plating, as Ben Johansson is in the cage to our left. Austin Shaw is in the cage to our right. Here we go. Tim Farrell, the referee, bringing the centers together. Throw the 60-game regular season out the window. Who's going to be the first to get to 12 wins? We'll find out as the Robertson Cup playoffs are underway. Here as the first period is underway at the K. Yeager Coliseum, brought to you by American Classified. As off the face-off, the Wildcats try to hold in on the right wing side. Trying to dig it loose there is Austin Bolio. He'll lose out as back to collect in his own zone was Wendling. He went down to the ice. No call upcoming here as Black can't clear. Knight towards the net, and Johansson makes an easy save. We'll get our first whistle of the night. 20 seconds gone. Reminder, this first period brought to you by American Classified. Cats get an offensive zone draw upcoming. Johansson's numbers, while we gave you his overall numbers at the top of the show, against the Wildcats this year, 2-3-0 with a 2.78 goals against average and an 8.95 save percentage. He did pick up the win in both of the Wildcats' overtime losses a couple weeks ago. Sent out in front there and stashed just wide by Nick Farmer, the recent Niagara University commit, trying to get a good start to the playoff run here, but it flashed just wide of the cage. Wildcats weren't able to regain possession. Back in his own zone and flipping it down the ice was Jack Weiss. That one goes out of play. Clean, says the linesman across to the far side. That's Daniel Spohr. So the Wildcats will get an offensive zone draw. Rio Grande Valley cannot change with 36 seconds gone. Tonight's officials, Tim Farrell is the referee, as Kevin Brennan and Daniel Spohr are the linesmen. Face off to the left of Ben Johansson as Tommy Apap a little aggressive on the face-off. Apap in the middle with Lazarus on his left and Albrecht on his right. He'll dig it back to the blue line where Cherniak tries to go right back down the wall. Instead, it's intercepted here by the Bees, and Connor Wood will chip this one past Shane Kosmeski. Shaw will skate away from his crease there, has some trouble with it as Wood knocks it out of midair. Shaw gets back to his cage. We'll keep an eye on that. Crossan tried to dally his way towards the front of the net. Wasn't able to do so, as now this is Albrecht giving it up the ice for Apap. Apap, his pass there, he left it behind as a good defensive stick disrupted the play by Nilsson as Crossan swings this one back behind his own cage. Lazarus tries to hold in the neutral zone, though. It's Matt Cook. Cook, his pass along for Jake Townsend. Offside play here as Albrecht wasn't able to get back to the blue line. So we will get a whistle and a neutral zone face-off upcoming. 18:49 remaining in the first. And over the last month or so, if there's one thing that we've been able to pick up about the Wildcats is that you can usually tell how things are going to go within the first 10 minutes of the game. If they're playing hard, if they're on top of the opposing team, if they're getting offensive chances early, usually bodes well. If they get off to a bit of a slow start, though, especially against a Rio Grande Valley team that likes to play tight defensive hockey, could be an interesting night. Off the face-off in the neutral zone, Rio Grande Valley sends this one all the way down. Cook here on the near side trying to dig it loose. He'll lose out. However, Subari is back there to move it along for Townsend. Townsend will put as an arrow under some pressure, but he was able to chip it loose. Got it out to the neutral zone. Tagging up on a delay are the Bees as they'll come to the bench for a change. Matt Cook in his own corner. He'll fly this one up the ice, wanting as an arrow. As an arrow, stepped over it. As coming to pick it up, here's Cam Black. Onside play, Black loses out as Townsend tries to flip this one along. Unable to clear out the Wildcats. Bounding puck here in the neutral zone, or rather towards the neutral zone, and finally escapes in between the blue lines as we played 2 minutes and a stop and start first period in game one of the South Division play-in series. No score. Very few shots on goal to speak of, if any, as this is Litviak gaining the zone as Staub gets to the front of the net. Here's Litviak cutting towards the middle there, and Johansson was able to cover up the puck. 17:46 remaining in the first. A good little skate from Nikita Litviak there, playing the right wing tonight with Colin Staub in the middle and Austin Bolio on the left wing. That's a unit that, when it's clicking, is as dangerous as any in the league, and the Wildcats are going to be hoping that with a 60-point score, a 55-point score, and a 34-point score on that line, it won't take too long for them to generate some offense. Staub will be washed out of the draw here as Litviak was a little overeager across the way. So Bolio will take the draw towards the cage of Johansson, easily swatted aside, as this is Kevin Clare looking to move it along. Found Dallas G-Rads as G-Rads gets to his own bench and plays it up the ice. Did Black get a stick to this one? No, he did not, so that'll be icing against Rio Grande Valley. And with 17:34 remaining in the first, And the Wildcats will get another offensive zone draw. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Scoreless here from the K. Yeager Coliseum as we're bringing you Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing. We extend a welcome to all the Rio Grande Valley fans joining us here this evening, as we understand that there's a nice little watch party going down at Fuddruckers back there in McAllen. And we will say this, the Bees certainly give out the best post-game meal. I don't think I've ever had a Fuddruckers burger after a game. That was pretty solid. Anyway, back to the play here. That's the last little plug we'll give Rio Grande Valley tonight, as this is Townsend trying to move it up the ice for Bolio. Cook was slow getting back to his feet behind the play, but Litviak walks in, gets to Bolio towards the net. Stop. Loose puck here. It's still loose. The net is off its moorings, and we'll get the whistle. 17-12 remaining in the first. First little bit of mayhem in front of the cage of Ben Johansson, the big Swede. However, he was able to keep that puck away from his blue paint. Johansson on the road, 6-6-2 with a 304 goals against and an 8.89 save percentage. And here's the thing that you got to remember about the Wildcats' record against Rio Grande Valley. Sure, it was 5-1-2, but even with those games, only one of those was a win by a margin of more than 2 goals. And everything else, 1-goal game or a 2-goal game. Face-off, one in the defensive zone by Rio Grande Valley. They're a very good face-off team. We'll see how much of an impact. Oh, Townsend blown up there. We'll see how much of an impact that has on this series, as this is Matt Cook. Oakley has Farmer on the right wing. Oakley has a step. Here's Oakley. Farmer in front. Farmer, oh my goodness. Johansson can't make the save, and they score! Johansson thought he had it covered up. Oakley digs it loose. A big coming together in front of the net. The referees separate everyone, but the Wildcats take the lead with 16:53 remaining in the first. Oakley celebrated like it was going to be his. Johansson looked like he had it covered. We'll get the replay here. It was sent in front. Farmer dug at it on the centering feed from Oakley. It didn't go. It was still sitting loose, and the Wildcats take the lead 1-0. And I think they're going to head to a power play out of this. Well, no power play. It looks like Sherazin is going to get a couple of minutes as well. Again, we're seeing the replay here as the Wildcats take the lead 1-0. If it's Evan Oakley's goal, as we'll skate 5-on-5. If it's Evan Oakley's goal, it would be his second career postseason tally. He had one in 3 games against Amarillo and a 3-game sweep last year. These are 2 teams that were both swept in the playoffs last season. The Wildcats by the top-seeded Amarillo, and the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees by the second-seeded Topeka Roadrunners. Anthony Croston not too happy with that goal being allowed to stand. However, Tim Farrell is not likely to change his mind, as the Wildcats, well, they still haven't put it up on the board here, so as now he'll finally give the indication that yes, that was a good goal. So in the early stages, the Wildcats have a 1-0 lead, and according to the big board here, Rio Grande Valley has yet to put up a shot on goal. Johansson leaves this one behind the cage. Apap almost dug it loose. They do give it to Oakley as Parker Wood looks to start things up the ice. Wood plays it along to a teammate here, as this is G-Rats coming into the offensive zone towards the cage of Shaw. Loose puck, and Shaw covers up as we'll get the whistle, and everybody's going to gather here. Croston was given a bump behind the net after the play. Someone is going to get a penalty from the Wildcats. I believe it's going to be Matt Cook, as that might put the Wildcats shorthanded on the Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill. Cook is indeed getting skated over the box. So Matt Cook, the Wildcats top defenseman, we shadowed him at the top of the show. Him and Cam Knight going to need to have big games for the Wildcats, and big postseasons for the Wildcats to make some noise in the Robertson Cup. Not a good start for Cookie there, as he'll sit for 2 minutes, and that puts Rio Grande Valley on the first power play of the evening. Faceoff will be to the right of Austin Shaw. Rio Grande Valley on the power play this year, 15.4%, 39 for 253. As the Wildcats on the penalty kill, 78.7%, 22nd in the league, but 28 for 30 over the last 7 games of the regular season. And against Rio Grande Valley on the year, 29 for 32 on the penalty kill, brought to you by Gilmore's Collision Center. That's 90.6%. However, Rio Grande Valley picked up a power play goal in that game on March the 19th against the Wildcats, as Cleared all the way down the ice by the Wildcats right off the draw. Back to collect it in his own zone and now looking to start forward. Here's number 10, Jack Weiss. Stretch pass onto the stick of Bleck. Bleck walks in. Nice back check there by Bolio as he'll skip it farther along into the neutral zone. Weiss now along for Gavin Cummings as Cummings has to chase this one back to his own end as we played 4 minutes here in the first period. Wildcats leading 1-0 on Evan Oakley's goal. However, they're shorthanded for the next minute and 25. Rio Grande Valley walks this one in. This is Weiss having his pocket picked in the neutral zone, however, as Staub dug it loose. Subri wanted an outlet pass. None was forthcoming. Staub will dig this one loose at the blue line once more, and Rio Grande Valley has to start anew. Here is Jack Weiss dusting it off and giving it to Gavin Cummings here. Crossin, fresh from the bench, wants this one hooked back onto his stick. He'll get it here. Have to check off to the left wing side and curl back, though, as the pass was behind him. Crossin now Cummings in front of his own bench area. Pass was intercepted there by Subri on his backhand. He'll pitchfork this one all the way down the ice. Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill long here for the Wildcats for the next 50 seconds as Matt Cook is in the box. Looking to start this one up the ice. Here's number 3, Evan Bell for Rio Grande Valley as the Bees look to gain the zone. Bell skates through everybody, chips off to the left wing side. Bell looks to send it towards the middle there as this one is up to the blue line. Held in by Nilsson. Now it's G-Rads. G-Rads plays it down towards the corner. First to it behind the net is Cam Knight. Knight can't clear the zone, however. Bell holds in. Now here is Nilsson into the middle. Hooked back towards the near side wall. 20 seconds remaining in the Bees power play. It's Nilsson. Now it's Bell. Now it's Nilsson again. Nilsson. Now it's G-Rads. Into the corner. Here's Crossin trying to stuff it. Now a wrap chance. Puck loose. And it wouldn't go. Crossin can't get it up to a teammate in a diving play there by Subri. Sees this one go all the way down the ice. 14:35 remaining in the first. The Wildcats will be back to 5-on-5 in 2 seconds as out of the box right now is Matt Cook. Good clean kill for the Wildcats on the first chance on the Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill. Rio Grande Valley's into the breadbasket of Austin Shaw. He'll cover up here and we'll get a whistle as we're back to 5-on-5 with the Wildcats leading 1-0 with 14:21 remaining in the first. Off will be to the left of Austin Shaw here. One there by APAP, unable to dig it loose on the near side. Fresh from the box was Matt Cook, as now it's Jake Townsend. Townsend will float this one down the ice. He wants Lazarus to go for a skate after it. Weiss the first there to it, as Lazarus will get the forecheck moving for the Wildcats. Behind the net, Weiss has his pocket picked by Lazarus. Here's Lazarus, top of the zone. Here's Townsend, shot, blocked down in front, and then covered up there by Ben Johansson. 14:01 remaining in the first. Johnny Lazarus, nice forecheck there to work the puck away from Jack Weiss on the forecheck, I should say. And Lazarus, Albrecht, and APAP, a unit that has really started to work well. Lazarus and Albrecht working well together on the forecheck, and that bore out some results against Amarillo a week and a half ago in that 6-1 win, as Albrecht picked up 3 points. Lazarus and APAP had 2 points apiece. However, obviously, new season here as it's into the postseason as Jeff Baum couldn't reach this pass. He'll swirl back into his own zone and play it along. Sherazin fights through the check there. He was upended. No call up coming as Rio Grande Valley will take possession as a result. Trying to work it loose here is Stathis Sumalidis. Rather, that's Austin Swingle. Swingle. Now it's along to the half wall here, trying to work it free, and doing so momentarily was Balsamo. Now it's Swingle again. He'll curl towards the right wing corner once more. Loses out in the skates of the referee, Tim Farrell. As coming along to help out was Balsamo in a two-side battle developing. Trying to dig it loose there on the near side was Farmer. Instead, Rio Grande Valley maintains possession. Pass up to the blue line, held in by Nielsen towards the net. It was blocked there. Karams into the neutral zone as this one is left behind for Sherazin to pick up. He'll float this one wide of the cage. To the left wing corner it goes of the Wildcats as they'll start up a change. Stretch pass here for Rio Grande Valley. Defended nicely there by Konstantin Chernyuk. Anthony Crossan has to curl back to let his teammate get onside. Now to the near side. It's Parker Wood. It was away from him and into the neutral zone it goes as the Wildcats try to dig this one free in front of their own bench wall. They sent it farther along, only as far as Weiss in front of his own bench, as still they'll battle for it between the blue lines. Works its way to Townsend. Townsend softly along here, wanting Litviak. Litviak delays, plays towards the right wing corner, and lets Bolio skate after it. 12:40 remaining in the first. The Wildcats leading 1-0 on Evan Oakley's goal, his second career playoff goal, and obviously first of the 2015 playoffs, as down the ice this runs for Matt Cook to take in his own zone. Here is Matt Cook. Along for Subri. Subri will look to glass this one farther down. Awkward carom off of bounds. Here's a man in front. They score! Stathis Sumulidis makes it 1-1 at 12:20 of the first period. It was a clearing attempt by Subri. It hit a glass support and stayed in the Bees' offensive zone. And Rio Grande Valley takes advantage of a friendly bounce off the glass to make it 1-1. That sums up the Wildcats' last couple of games. That's exactly what, look out there as that one goes into the Bees bench area off the stick of Lazarus. Exactly what the Wildcats have been wanting their players to do in the defensive zone. If there's nothing there, play it off the glass, get it farther along. Would have been a great play by Subri, or at least a smart play by Subri, but unfortunately for Paul, it hit a glass support, stayed in the offensive zone of the Killer Bees. Stathis Sumulidis won it free through a couple of skates and beat Austin Shaw upstairs. Maybe you might say Shaw was a little deep, but I think that's being a little harsh as he kind of got left in no man's land. This is G-Rods, kicked away there by Shane Kosmeski as Kosmeski will look to gallop along. Played it laterally for a teammate. Lazarus steps this one up into the zone as behind the cage. Here's Apap first to it. Here's Apap, centers Kosmeski, his shot saved there as he couldn't settle it cleanly and get a one-timer away. So Johansson got a right pad on it. Now it's Wendling into the middle of the ice. Now it's Black. Jabbed away from him on a good stick there by Shane Kosmeski as Kosmeski will look to step up the ice. Played it towards his own bench as his teammates were changing. Nice play by Sherazin to hook it along for Farmer. Here's Farmer, has a step. Farmer's shot saved there, and it goes away to the right wing corner. He'll play it behind the net to the left wing side. This is bombed down at the half wall. Has some trouble with it there. He'll dig for it once more as unable to hold the zone were the Wildcats. Skipping down the ice. This will not be icing here as Cam Knight has to play in his own zone. Left behind here, turned it over. Here's Wood in front. Loose puck here. Stepping onto this one was Sherazin. Dangerous moment for the Cats, but they escape danger. Sherazin, pass Bell. He'll lose his lumber, but go into the corner after it as Oakley does the same. Penalty upcoming here as down to the ice went Daniel Nielsen. It's going to be a checking from behind. I don't know which one you decide to call it on, Evan Oakley or Kevin Sherazin. They both hit him from behind as Nielsen is slow to get back to his feet. It looks like they're going to give it to Kevin Sherazin. 11:02 remaining in the first. The Wildcats took a 1-0 lead, but Stathis Sumulidis has tied it up to make it 1-1. Sumulidis just torched the Wildcats this season. 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points for Stathis Sumulidis, the Czech Republic native. We'll see what's going to happen here with the penalty time, whether it'll be 2 or 5. Nilsson is still down on the ice, receiving some attention across the way in the far side corner as he is back to his feet and skating off under his own power. So you hope that it was just a moment where he had the wind knocked out of him, but either way, good to see Nilsson back on his feet. We'll see how much time they're going to put on the boards. Oh, man, Kevin Sherazin's night is done. Looks like they're going to take him out of the box. Less than 9 minutes into this game, the Wildcats lose their leading goal scorer. Kevin Sherazin is going to get 5 minutes. We'll see whether it's a game ejection or a game misconduct, and that will carry some weight. If it's a game misconduct, he'll be suspended for game 2 tomorrow. If it's a game ejection, it's just tonight. So it's a double minor, not a major, double minor against Kevin Sherazin, and the Wildcats, who are 1 for 1 on the Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill, are going to head back to it. Farrell was in a good position to see the play. There's no denying that as we're getting a look at the replay here. Hard to tell on that look. He certainly hit him from behind. Double minor, well, maybe. Either way, Coach LaFontaine is not happy with that call at all. As Tim Farrell, the referee tonight, the linesmen Kevin Brennan and Daniel Spoor. 1-1 the score here. The Wildcats took the lead, but Stathis Sumulidis answered back to make it 1-1 on an unassisted tally. The Wildcats are going to be shorthanded for the next 4 minutes. Now what we're waiting on is to find out whether it was going to be a game misconduct, a 10-minute misconduct, or a game ejection for Kevin Sherazin. Mentioned a moment ago, that certainly will carry some weight because if it's a game misconduct, he'll be suspended for tomorrow. Anything else, he'll be available for selection for tomorrow's game too. Either way, the Wildcats have 4 minutes of Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill time to deal with here. As still we're having an issue, they're trying to sort something out in front of the Wildcats bench. 11:02 remaining in the first, as they're going to send Austin Albrecht over to serve the penalty to Kevin Sherazin. What a big loss that would be for the Wildcats. Kevin Sherazin, the leading goal scorer on this team, potted 27 this year. As off the faceoff, this is cleared down the ice and a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Here's Staub, has Bolio, here's Staub, send it just wide of the right-hand post of Johansson. Game ejection for Kevin Sherazin, significant. He's done for the night, but he will be available for tomorrow. Anyway, Austin Bolios drifts forward, shorthanded slowly here, and he'll play this one hard around behind. The Wildcats had a 2-on-1 shorthanded a moment ago, but they weren't able to capitalize on it as Staub stashed it just wide of the post. He had Bolio with him, elected to shoot. 10:20 remaining in the first, 3:20 of power play time remaining for Rio Grande Valley. 0 for 1 on the man advantage already are the Bees. Hammered in deep and held in at the right point as Cummings sends it towards the net. Intercepted there by Cook, and he'll send this one farther along down the ice. Cummings corrals and moves it quickly back up the ice. Onside play. Here's Croston. Now it's G-Rads back for Croston at the left circle. Croston towards the net. Covered there by Shaw. G-Rads walked right around Matt Cook. Gave Shaw a little slash, which Shaw doesn't like. Neither did Cam Knight. With 10 minutes even remaining in the first, and a faceoff coming to the right of Austin Shaw. Look for that there as Matt Cook tried to lock up G-Rads, but G-Rads walked right around him. Faceoff will be to the right. Now it's gut check time for the Wildcats. They got to dig deep here and get it done with the 19 guys they have on the bench. By the way, we are aware that point streak is not functioning properly here. We're going to try and get that sorted out in the intermission. In the meantime, just listen to me because I will try and give you the stats as best I can over the next few minutes. Shots on goal as Cherniak sends this one down the ice are 8-2 in favor of the Wildcats according to the big board here at the KYC, which is all we have to go off of. Unfortunately for the Cats, the Bees are shooting 50% as we're tied 1-1. Into the offensive zone, here comes Bleck. He'll play it off to the left wing side, wanting it there but getting sealed out by APAP with a killer bee skater, so it's back to the blue line. Here is Weiss walking in, shot, toe save there, back towards the net, loose puck, they scored! Power play tally for Rio Grande Valley. 9:21 remaining in the first, and the Wildcats get burned by that penalty by Kevin Sherazin. They trail 2-1. It just trickled over the line. The Wildcats need to get themselves sorted out here. A lot of game left to go. A odd feeling about this building right now. So, the Wildcats still shorthanded on the Gilmore's Collision Center penalty kill for the next 2 minutes as Austin Albrecht continues to serve the double minor for checking from behind by Kevin Sherazin. The Wildcats now trailing 2-1 as this one is Croston taking it along here. Evan Cummings here on the near side. It'll be Matt Cook playing it up the ice for Bolio shorthanded. Bolio will protect here. Loses out in front of the Rio Grande Valley bench as G-Rats looks to move it away from Nick Farmer. G-Rats gains a zone. Got past Subri but loses out as Subri is now resting on top of the puck. Weiss pulls it free. It's back towards the corner, but Cook will intercept. Skates around one man here. Farmer has a whole lot of room shorthanded. Here's Farmer, right wing circle, holding. His shot wasn't able to get it away here. Wrapping all the way around behind the net. Farmer looks to go up to the blue line and plays it to the neutral zone to kill off some more time as the Wildcats turned it over here. Onside play. Quick shot in a glove save by Shaw off the stick of Stathis Sumalidis. 8:17 remaining in the first. Rio Grande Valley now up 2-1 on a power play goal from Austin Swingle is who they give credit to. Back to the blue line. Here's a one-timer by Nilsson. Goes wide. Rebound. Picked up here by Lorraine, but it's hammered away to the point. Weiss. Good keep there, but the Wildcats still aren't able to clear. Now it's Weiss walking down low. Here is Crossan looking to play towards the middle. Rather, this is Black. Black up to the right point where Weiss will take it. Weiss can't move it along here, so we'll get it back to Black. Intercepted there by Apap on a good stick, and Tommy goes the length of the ice. Back to 5-on-5 hockey in 25 seconds as Kevin Sharazin's night is done. Double minor for checking from behind and a game ejection as gaining the zone here is Rio Grande Valley. Staub can't clear. It's Weiss holding in. Now down behind the net of Austin Shaw. Jake Townsend hammers this one around the glass. All the way down it goes towards the cage of Johansson. He'll stick this one along and leave it there for Abbott. Trevor Abbott all the way down the ice. No icing here as someone got to stick to it. Cook sweeps at this one, gets it into the neutral zone as Reisinger looks to dig it loose. We're back to 5-on-5 play as Albrecht serving Sharazin's penalty is out of the box. This is Matt Cook. The Wildcats down 2-1. Turned over. Here's Albrecht with the step. Clean break. Albrecht! And a save by Johansson. Net off its moorings, and we'll get the whistle. 7:02 remaining in the first. The Wildcats have gotten some good looks, but Johansson thus far coming up big. And Johansson over his last 10 games has been pretty solid. 3-1-1 record in 6 games played over the Killer Bees' last 10 contests with a .377 goals against and an .856 save percentage. Media timeout here at the K. Yeager Coliseum. We'll take the opportunity to reset you. The Wildcats took a 1-0 lead on Evan Oakley's goal as he dug home a loose puck and popped it just over the pad of Ben Johansson, but then Paul Subri had some trouble on a clearing attempt. It had a bad bounce off a glass support, and Stathis Sumalides took advantage and walked in and sent one upstairs to make it 1-1 before a power play goal for Austin Swingle made it 2-1. Wildcats are back to full strength, but they're going to be without Kevin Sharazin. There's certainly no doubting that it was a checking from behind. That is not up for any debate whatsoever. Whether it was worthy of a game ejection is a matter of some conjecture. Either way, the Cats have to shank that off and deal with it here. Wildcats have scored first now in their last 4 contests, dating back to that game against Amarillo in the regular season. They've only won one of those games. Shaw tries to play this one along here, looking to dig it loose on the near side was G-Rads. Albrecht was able to dig it free away from Dallas G-Rads. Into the neutral zone it runs, and out of play it goes after it pops up and over the glass behind the bench of the Wildcats. 6:42 remaining in the first. Reminder, as we approach the first intermission, stick around, we'll hear from Wildcats head coach John LaFontaine. No out-of-town scoreboard look. This is the only playoff series getting underway this evening, but we will take a look at some of the other matchups in the Robertson Cup playoffs. Townsend for Cook off the faceoff here as Cook will float this one along. Wildcats having some trouble here stringing together passes as Rio Grande Valley will be whistled for a hand pass here. A couple of lineup notes that we haven't gotten to you quite yet. Shane Kosmeski back in tonight after serving a 2-game suspension last weekend for a needless hit against the Amarillo Bulls on Tuesday the 24th. That pushes Austin Azanaro back up to forward. He's playing on a right wing with Subri in the middle and Reisinger on the left. Reisinger fighting through a check here. Oakley coming along as well as Oakley drops for Farmer to play hard around behind for Reisinger. Reisinger skating instead of Sharazin, who has been ejected from this contest as Reisinger left it in the corner, but there was nobody to dig it free. Croston, his pass off a skate. Corralled here by Bell. Wide of the cage of Shaw. Ramping up off the backside of his net as Oakley has some trouble with this one here. He'll try to kick it along the wall, as will Farmer, who will send it down the ice. This will be icing here against the Wildcats with 6:03 remaining in the first. The man who just committed to Niagara University earlier in the week, making a league-high 11 skaters to have skated for the Wildcats with Division I commitments this year. Janesville, if you look at the college commitment list, has 12, but 3 of those committed this year while playing for another team, not in the North American Hockey League. So the Wildcats, the league leader in, I guess you could say, active Division I commits. And rumor is, as down to the ice goes Townsend, and a penalty upcoming here. It's going to be against Rio Grande Valley. It'll be an elbowing call here as someone's wing got a little high and caught Townsend. As it looks like Austin Swingle will be the guy heading to the box. So the Wildcats will get their first power play of the evening. League's leading power play unit will go to work, needing a goal to tie this one up. Cats down 2-1. 2 minutes for elbowing for Austin Swingle. The Cats power play on the year, 25% even through the regular season, that is. 55 for 220. And they were 29% against Rio Grande Valley, 9 for 31. But the Cats are on the Cats ended the regular season on a 4-game goalless drought on the power play, tied for the longest of the year, 0 for 7 in that span. Cleared all the way down the ice. Shaw will move it along for Matt Cook. Here is Matt Cook. Now to Jake Townsend, rather Cam Knight on the right wing side. Knight jabs this one along. Apap and Knight as well as Cook walks in. Here's Cook's shot, deflected, goes just wide of the cage there as Apap was in front and got a stick to it. Trying to dig it loose behind the cage. It's a 2-a-side battle, now a 3-a-side battle as Bolio gets involved. Apap walked it loose. Apap gives it for Cam Knight outside the right wing circle. Here is Knight. Cook middle of the blue line. Cook along for Bolio left wing circle. Bolio holds, now walks towards the middle. Shot through traffic, goes wide. Pops up towards the near side as Cam Knight tries to dig this one loose and does. His pass, though, was off a couple of skates. Staub with a nice stick there to keep this one moving in the offensive zone. Staub, left wing side, now to Bolio in the corner, up to the blue line and Matt Cook. Cook, backdoor play there, deflected attempt for Staub, saved there by Johansson, and he'll cover up the loose puck. 4:54 remaining in the first. 2-1, the Wildcats are trailing. They're on the power play for the next minute and 2. Their first man advantage of the night. As Austin Swingle is serving 2 minutes for elbowing. Off to the right of Johansson here. Farmer can't win the draw. It's towards the cage of Johansson. Loose puck there. Cherniak follows it up and plays it back down low into the corner. Here is Litviak now to Cherniak at the right wing half wall. Cherniak walking down to the circle instead gives to Litviak. Here is Litviak. Townsend wants a pass. Litviak dusts off and moves to the top of the circle. Holds on it. Gives to Townsend now middle of the blue line. Here is Townsend towards the net. Loose puck there and a right toe save by Johansson. And a great reaction save by the Swede as Rio Grande Valley will clear at the length of the ice. Johansson locked in on that puck right now. Townsend back to collect it here. He'll move it along for Litviak left wing side. Litviak gets to the blue line and plays in deep here. Johansson will play this one away from an on-rushing Lazarus as this is Farmer unable to dig it loose. Cherniak on the far side has it taken away from him by Connor Wood, and Wood slots us down the boards and down the ice it trickles. 4 minutes remaining in the first. 10 seconds remaining on the Wildcats power play. They trail 2-1 here in the first period as Subri banks this one forward. Back down the ice it goes from Rio Grande Valley. Power play for the Wildcats over. They are 0 for 1 in the man advantage. Now 0 for 12 over their last 4 games. 4 plus a period now. Walking in here is Austin Azanaro. Has Subri in the middle. Azanaro now hooks back towards the middle there. Intercepted. Knight holds in at the right point. Over to Baum at the left point. Baum into the corner. Oakley. Loose puck. Where is it? Oh man, Johansson completely messed up that save, but somehow it got tangled up in his leg pads. Didn't trickle over the line. The referee, Tim Farrell, right on top of it as we got the whistle with 3:29 remaining in the first. Face off to the right of Ben Johansson here as the Wildcats and their fans just a little unsure what to make of what's gone on in the first almost 20 minutes. They took the lead 1-0, but a couple of broken goals there for Rio Grande Valley as the Killer Bees in the lead. Stretch play here, knifed away from an on-rushing Lorraine by Jeff Baum as the Wildcats are looking for a response here before the end of this first period. Off the glass, nice keep there by Knight, but he was backpedaling and couldn't hold his own. So it's Swingle. Swingle at the right circle, shot, blocker save there by Shaw. He forced it to the glass, and it goes out of play with 3:03 remaining in the first. Solid save there by Austin Shaw. Swingle had some room up top. He's got a goal to his credit already as the faceoff will come to the left of Austin Shaw. Exactly the way that the Killer Bees would have liked this game to set up. Now they can play their defensive game plan. Getting a warning there from Brennan as the faceoff is to the left of Shaw. One cleanly back to the blue line. Weiss, shot, wide of the cage, rebound, picked up here by Lazarus off the back wall. Lazarus out-muscled there by G-Rads as G-Rads popped it free. In the right wing corner, they'll battle for it as a two-side scrum ensues. Still it's loose. G-Rads and Wendling trying to dig it free here as Wendling does exactly that. Trying to hook around in front was Wendling. Has to chase it to the corner instead. Albrecht loses out, trickling towards the cage of Shaw. He'll sweep it away from his blue paint for Tommy Apap. Apap runs this one down the ice. It will not be icing here as Albrecht charges this one down and was going to beat the race. Johansson moved it along for G-Rads here. G-Rads up the ice. Onside play. Here's Bleck. Toe drag. Shot blocked there. He'll get it back and play it behind. Pops up into the air here. Loose behind the cage of Shaw. Apap moved it along for Townsend. Townsend, and now it's Cook in the left wing corner of the Wildcats in their own zone. He'll float this one down the ice. The Wildcats will come to the bench for a change as settling this one in their own zone are the Killer Bees. 2:05 remaining in the first. Cook has it at his own blue line once more. Moved it for Litviak now. Here is Litviak for Bolio. Jabbed away from him. Townsend back along for Bolio here as Litviak touches this one along. He'll lose out here trying to work it free are the Cats as still they'll fumble for this one in the neutral zone. As the Wildcats continuing to have trouble stringing some passes together on the breakout. Here is Matt Cook. Pass intercepted here. They're being read like a book as walking in was Connor Wood. It was away from him. Now Bolio will step onto a loose puck. Here's Bolio into the offensive zone. Drops for Litviak. Litviak protects at the right wing circle. Tries to hand it towards the front. Bolio, toe drag. Loose puck top of the crease. Picked up here by Lorraine. Rather, this is Bell. Swung back along to the near side for Connor Wood as Wood swivels this down the ice. Will it be icing? Yes, it will. Just barely as Farmer barely got there ahead. I believe that was Zach Bennett down the right wing side. 1:16 remaining in the first. 2-1 the score in favor of the Killer Bees. Game 1 of the 2015 Robertson Cup playoffs here at the K. Yeager Coliseum. It's the South Division play-in round, best of 3 series, game 2 tomorrow night, right back here, same time, same place. As the faceoff will be to the right of Ben Johansson. Face-off, Oakley wasn't able to hold the zone as Bennett will chip this off the glass to the neutral zone it goes. Reisinger couldn't settle a puck. Oakley comes along but is bumped off it as stepping to the blue line here and taking a glancing blow up high was Weiss. The Wildcats will send this one back down. No icing here as Bennett is back to collect it. Last minute of play in the first period brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Headman pass for Connor Wood. Someone got a deflection on it, so no icing here as Crossan will battle with Cam Knight in the left wing corner of Rio Grande Valley in the last 40. Here is Crossan up to the point. It's Weiss now. Weiss back around the boards here. It'll carry him along to the near side. First to it on the wall was Parker Wood. Dug free. Zumalides sends it back down low for Parker Wood. Here is Parker Wood curling around left wing circle. Turnaround shot fought off there by Shaw as this is Reisinger sending this one off the glass. Into the neutral zone it goes off the glove of Parker Wood, who had a hat trick against the Wildcats a couple of weeks ago as Bell moved this one along. Zumalides forced it farther as well. Now it's Matt Cook from Jake Townsend in the last 10 seconds of this first period. Headman pass for Albrecht was intercepted here as an arrow on his backhand. Sweeps this one in deep in the last 3 seconds of the first as Weiss will try to protect and see out the last couple of ticks. And there's the horn. So 20 minutes in the books here in the first round of the Robertson Cup playoffs. Game 1 between the Killer Bees and your Wildcats. Wildcats took a 1-0 lead on Evan Oakley's goal just 5 minutes into the contest, but 2 goals from Rio Grande Valley as the Killer Bees in the lead 2-1. Shots on goal 11-5 in the frame according to the big board here at the KYC. We'll step aside when we come back and we'll have our intermission report with an interview with Wildcats head coach John LaFontaine coming your way on the other side of the break here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network as Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing will continue after this. Hey, Yeager Coliseum. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. It is Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing. Cats got their playoff run off to a good start. Evan Oakley finding the back of the net in the first 5 minutes of the contest. However, a defensive miscue and a power play opportunity for Rio Grande Valley allowed the Killer Bees to strike a couple of times. They have 5 shots on goal and scored twice on those 5 shots. The Wildcats had 11 shots on goal and scored once. The Cats were the better skating team in that period, but what really seemed to disrupt their flow was their inability to string passes together through the neutral zone, as we knew was going to be the case against Rio Grande Valley, or as we knew Rio Grande Valley was going to try and do here in this playoff series, as thus far they've executed their game plan fairly well. It'll be up to the Wildcats to see if they can figure out another way around him. And the other thing here to be mindful of, Ben Johansson looks strong. He looks solid. He looks locked in between the pipes for Rio Grande Valley. Made a couple of very strong saves after some deflections. As we'll see if that will continue in the second couple of periods. As without any further ado, though, we'll hear from Wildcats head coach John LaFontaine, who spoke with me earlier today about this game 1 tonight and the playoff series as a whole. Ben Horner with you, Wildcats fans, and joining me now is Wildcats head coach John LaFontaine as we are speaking ahead of the Wildcats playoff opener in the 2015 Robertson Cup playoffs, as the Wildcats will take on the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees in Game 1 of their best-of-3 play-in series. And John, obviously the Wildcats at the outset of last week were hoping that they were going to come away with, at the very least, a bye. However, they finish up in that third spot, have to play this play-in series. You've been asked this before this week, but in your opinion, is it a good or a bad thing to be forced to keep playing a little bit here in the stretch run?
It's a good thing, Ben. It's a good thing. It's hard to take a week off going into playoffs. The only thing that usually happens is that you kind of lose your edge a little bit. It's hard to stay in playoff mode, and we've been in playoff mode playing our last 8 on the road and against teams that are fighting for position like we are. So we were forced to get in playoff mode, and it was only a good thing for us. And I think it's a good thing that we get to play 2 games at home.
A lot of times conventional wisdom says that it's a good opportunity to get bodies healed and rested, but we should note the Wildcats, one of the healthier teams in the league, aside from Eric Yeager, not too many long-term injuries this season whatsoever. And if you're listening to this, go ahead and knock on a little bit of wood, as the Wildcats hope that continues throughout the postseason. John, you mentioned that 8-game run on the road, and obviously it ended with a sweep, 2 regulation losses at the hands of the Lone Star Brahmas. A very tough place to go and play, though. Overall, what was your takeaway from that 8-game run heading into the postseason?
Well, I think both games were a little different, Ben. The first game, we put up 30-plus shots. We had a lot of chances. We scored 4 goals, but we had some lapses, and they obviously are an opportunistic team and very good at burying any mistakes that you make, and they did that. And you can't give up 5 goals, especially on the road, and expect to win. But we played hard. We played smart. I don't think we turned the puck over a lot. I think that we just some opportunities in front of the net that we didn't pick up men, and some opportunities that they got on the power play. All of a sudden we're fighting from behind, and it's hard to fight from behind, and we had to fight from 2-goal deficits, and you can't put yourself in that position. The next night was a completely different game. It was, a playoff environment. We only gave up 16 shots, but we didn't have as many shots on net. But it was a good hockey game, a good playoff game. We didn't turn the puck over again, and they ended up getting a goal that. Was one of those goals that they were opportunistic. Our goalie was behind the net and hit one of their players, and he couldn't get back to the net. And we had a player in front that couldn't block the shot that the guy had wide open. It was one of those that I know obviously Austin would like to have that back and play it differently, but that was the game winner, and our guys fought right to the end. We feel like we're not focusing on the scoreboard. We're focused on, are we playing as a team? Are we playing hard? Are we giving the effort and intensity that playoffs are going to demand?
That Saturday game certainly seemed to be one of the Wildcats' best defensive efforts as a team, as a unit.
over the last few weeks, and it was really a playoff style game. Not too much end-to-end play, not very open, as the teams were playing tight defensive hockey, not wanting to get caught on the odd man rush. Can we expect to see that continue throughout the postseason? Are the days of the run and gun probably behind us for the remainder of this 2014-15 campaign?
Well, that's the goal, Ben, and obviously that changes if you can get a lead on a team and pull them out of their defensive mode, or they get a lead on us. And so, right from the start, it's going to be a very, very defensive-minded playoff style of hockey, physical. The battles are mostly going to be on the walls. Teams are going to play a little more conservative and simple, and that's the way we have to be. And then we have to rely on our talent and our depth to be opportunistic.
This is a Rio Grande Valley team that the Wildcats had some success against. However, last couple of meetings did not go the way the Wildcats wanted. And you've talked about a little bit this week, John, about how their road style is very conducive, or their style of play is very conducive to having success on the road. Expand on that a little bit more.
Well, they play the same way at home as they do at home. On the road as they do at home. They've got speed and they're tenacious, but they really want to bottle up the mid zone and make it tough for you to get any odd man rushes or any opportunities on the rush. And then they want to outman you in the D zone. They play really scrappy in the D zone and really try to protect the middle of the ice. So they work hard. They keep the game simple. They like to just put pucks to areas and go get it, and they forecheck hard. They've been in playoff mode for a while, and really that's their style of play right from the beginning.
John, as the Wildcats enter this game one, obviously the thought in the back of the mind of every fan around this organization is they have never won a playoff series here in Wichita Falls. Why should they be optimistic about this season?
Well, every year is different, and I don't think you can worry about what was done in the past. This year's team has had a lot of success and won in a lot of areas that other teams weren't able to win at, and buildings that other teams didn't have success. And obviously, we're 1 point out of a second place and not that far out of first place. So right down to the end, we've shown that we're one of the better teams. But none of that means anything if your players aren't ready for playoff style of hockey. So I think more importantly for us, those 8 games on the road forced us to get into a playoff mode and forced us to gain some confidence that we can play at home and on the road.
We'll see if that pays dividends, that 8-game road spell, when the Wildcats open the playoffs here this evening. Game 1, we'll be back with a little bit more on the other side of the break. Obviously, Game 2 tomorrow night. John, thanks for joining us here. We'll step aside when we come back. More Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network.
Back here at the K. Yeager Coliseum, Ben Horner with you on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network, getting set for the second period of action here between the Wildcats and Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees in Game 1 of their best-of-3 series. In the South Division play-in round, a winner will move on to face either Topeka or Lone Star. If the Wildcats win, they will move on to play Topeka. If the Killer Bees win, they would move on to face the Lone Star Brahmas. Wildcats are trailing 2-1 as we enter the second period of play here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. As the Cats will skate from left to right in this period. That's Q to P across your keyboard. Coming back the other way are the Killer Bees in their dark sweaters with the black base and the green shoulder plating. As that is P to Q across your keyboard. As the Wildcats took a 1-0 lead on Evan Oakley's second career postseason goal and obviously first of the 2015 playoffs. However, goals from Austin Swingle on the power play and Stathis Sumalidis unassisted as Rio Grande Valley up 2-1 when they are leading after one period of play, 11-4-2. We'll get you what the Wildcats splits are when trailing after one in just a second. Either way, the ball started off the faceoff. Anyway, now the puck is down and we are underway here in the second period as right away the Wildcats turn it over. Getting it right back though was Shane Kosmeski as Kosmeski looks to gain the zone. From the right wing side, he'll chase it down in towards the corner and play it off to the left wing wall. Bolio couldn't reach it there as a good step by Staub is for naught. Gaining the zone here is Rio Grande Valley. Behind the net it goes. First to it behind the net, it's Litviak trying to run it up the wall. Instead, Bleck towards the net. Blocked down there by Shane Kosmeski as working this one along are the Killer Bees. Up to the blue line for Evan Bell. Here is Bell towards the net. Well wide of the cage as it was off a body in front. Wendling behind the net now, hooked loose in front towards the near side. Litviak steps onto a loose puck and trickled it along, finding Bolio. Bolio skates over the red line and plays hard around the boards. Litviak first to it on this near side. He'll jab down low, wanting Staub. Staub can't fish it free in front for Bolio as Bolio leaves it on the outside of the cage. Connor Wood hacks at it there, but it's Litviak hooking for Bolio. Now Litviak corralled in front for Farmer, and the net is off its moorings as somehow he wasn't able to get that puck past Johansson. 18:58 remaining in the second period. Wildcats coming with an early surge here, trying to level this score as they are trailing 2-1. Face-off will be to the left of Johansson. Face off, the Wildcats can't hold the zone as this is Rio Grande Valley starting forward on the left wing wall. Crossan, his shot blocked there as Townsend got a body in the way. Getting it right back though was Crossan. Townsend will try to dig this one loose. Hooked it along for Matt Cook behind the net as Cook runs this one along for Farmer. Farmer up the ice wanting Oakley. It was a little in front of Evan as back to collect now and sending this one in deep were the Killer Bees. Here is Matt Cook. Now it's Jake Townsend as Townsend will play this one softly up the wall. Farmer skates onto this one. Farmer down the right wing side into the offensive zone. Shot steered wide off a stick there as unable to take it on the far side wall was Reisinger. So Swingle starts forward. Swingle tries to get around Jeff Baum. Good play there by Baum as he forced him to the back wall. Cam Knight, the first to it there behind the net, trying to work it along and move it forward were the Wildcats, but it's behind the net once more. Into the corner it goes. Jeff Baum finally works it free as he'll put it on his backhand. Trickled it up the ice. It was behind Evan Oakley. Dallas Gerads back into the offensive zone as he curls around Farmer. Here's Gerads. Shot under the glove there of Shaw, but goes wide. Wendling hustling along, can't hold the zone, so he'll curl back to the neutral zone. Now it's Nilsson. Nilsson wide of the cage of Shaw. He'll stick this one away from some pressure here and move it along for Lazarus to take on the near side wall. Lazarus floats this one down the ice. Nobody in a white sweater there to get it, so Rio Grande Valley will start back up the ice, but Albrecht on a turnover. Here's Albrecht as Lazarus up to the left of Johansson. Have to take the draw. Can't win it, tries to force it forward towards the corner. He'll take a little shiver up high as Rio Grande Valley picks this one up. It's Jack Weiss. He'll split a couple of guys. That was Albrecht and Apap and gain the red line, then floated in deep on his backhand. Cherniak Gave it away. Here's Parker Wood. Wood skates towards the left wing corner. Left behind here by everybody as now APAP picks it up for the red and black. APAP into the neutral zone. Did he get a stick to it? That was Albrecht there wanting it. He did not get a stick to it, so this will be icing against the Cats. 17:02 remaining in the second period. 2-1 the score in favor of Rio Grande Valley. Ben Horner with you on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. And what we're seeing right now is Rio Grande Valley playing exactly the kind of game that they want to play. As the faceoff will be to the left of Austin Shaw. Clear this one all the way down the ice. It'll be icing again, so we'll do it all over with 16:51 remaining in the second period. Just seen a picture of the watch party down at the Fuddruckers in McAllen, and I'll say good on the Bees fans coming out on a Thursday night. Looks like a good crowd back down there as we hope, well, we're pretty sure that you're enjoying this 2-1 lead for Rio Grande Valley. The Wildcats trying to dig this one loose off the faceoff. It's APAP to the near side. Albrecht will get to the red line. Here's Austin Albrecht charging down the right wing wall. Upended here down to the ice. He goes on a good clean hip check. That was Evan Bell who sent him for a ride as this one goes out of play. They say it was off a Killer Bees skater, so the faceoff will stay down low. Upended there was Austin Albrecht. Timber as Evan Bell gave him a good clean hip check along the right wing wall. Faceoff will be to the left of Johansson when we get back to play. Line that's been pretty quiet tonight thus far. Polio, Staub, and Litviak out there right now looking to get going. If you're just joining us, the Cats are now without Kevin Sherazin, who received a game ejection and a double minor for checking from behind in the first period. Rio Grande Valley would take the lead on a power play goal off those penalties, and now the Cats are without their leading goal scorer. Kevin Clare in his own zone as he'll move it along for Bleck. Bleck chipped it along here as Rio Grande Valley walks in the form of Weiss. Weiss, top of the right circle, shot off a leg, carrying in front. They sent it wide. Oh my goodness, Cam Bleck had the entire net to shoot at, and he sent it wide to the back wall. So now Bolio starts up the ice for the Wildcats. Bolio gets around Weiss. Bolio hooked in front there, and it goes just wide from the stick of Staub, as Bolio wasn't able to get it up to the blue line for Townsend. So it's Bleck who just missed a beautiful chance in front of the net, had all of it to shoot at, and stash it wide. Bolio again. Now it's Staub chipping free. Here's Staub. Staub! Saved by Johansson, and we'll get the whistle. As Staub getting face masked here by Nilsson, and now by Connor Wood. That could be a penalty for face masking. Staub finally shakes himself free. 15:45 remaining in the second, and the Cats, they're not getting too much in terms of offensive zone time, prolonged offensive zone time, but they're getting into the offensive zone on broken plays here and there. They're just not able to capitalize and get them past Johansson. That one a tough one for Staub, as that was bouncing and bobbling all the way to the net. Farmer washed out of the faceoff here, so Oakley will step in. Now Subri will step in instead. Subri won it forward. Oakley wasn't able to get back onto it, as this is Cam Knight in front of his own bench area. The Wildcats tag up at the blue line as Subri swept this one in deep. Oakley going in hard here. Johansson swept it away for Evan Bell in this near side corner. Oakley in front, and Farmer just directed it high and wide of the cage. Good play by Oakley there along the wall, and another good play by Oakley to tie this one up, but now he'll lose out as Knight holds in at the right point. Knight towards the net, deflected just wide there as Oakley was skating out of the corner towards the back door. Behind the net it goes once more. Here's Farmer in front. Shot saved by Johansson, and he'll cover the rebound. As once more it was Evan Oakley. Oakley buzzing around the net here in the first 25 minutes or so of gameplay here at the K. Yeager Coliseum. 2-1 the score in favor of the Killer Bees. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday evening as Rio Grande Valley gave up the first goal of the game. It was the fourth game in a row the Wildcats have scored the first goal. In their last three, they've turned around and surrendered that lead. After Townsend's shot was blocked, Cook chases this one back into the neutral zone. Here's Apap onside. He'll protect and swing it down the wall. Right wing corner it goes, now behind the cage. Crossan looks to pick this one up here as Parker Wood jammed it free. Now it's numbers forward for Rio Grande Valley. Here's Zumalides in front, Crossan, and he sent it wide of the cage. That's another great look for Crossan this time, as now it's sprung loose. One-on-one. Here's Albrecht with Bell in front of him. Albrecht outside the left wing circle. Drop pass. It's Apap now. Apap towards the wall. Albrecht looking to hook out in front. Loose puck in the blue paint. Apap turning around here. It's Jack Weiss circling around his own cage. He'll bump it softly off the back wall. Rio Grande Valley has had two tremendous chances to stretch this to 3-1. They've missed them both. Will they rue those chances and sending them wide of the cage? Here is Weiss up to the blue line, wanting Zumalides as Zumalides starts it forward. He'll get to the red line and play this one wide. It was Zumalides who had the initial shot before, who had the fake shot before playing to Crossan, and Crossan sent it wide. 14 minutes remaining in the second. Cats are trailing 2-1, could be 3-1, could be 4-1. Instead, though, we play on as Abbott plays this one up the ice. Here's Lorraine now into the offensive zone. Elliott Lorraine through the blue paint there. Shaw directs it away to the far side wall. Swingle goes behind the net with it. Cook beaten to it there. Balsamo in front, loose puck, and it goes just wide. Bolio there on the far side, trying to dig it free. He did so, but lost out. Now Stav will force it into the neutral zone. 13:40 remaining in the second. 2-1 the score here as Stav has stood up at his defensive blue line. Bolio will play this softly off the glass. Right into the body here of Lorraine. He'll step over the red line and play in deep as Rio Grande Valley wants a change. We're approaching the halfway mark of this game one here in the South Division play-in round. Rio Grande Valley on the road taking on the Wildcats 3-6 as Wichita Falls is trailing 2-1. It's Austin Bolio. He'll ramp this up the glass. Litviak throws his man hard into the wall there. Wildcats down a man for the rest of the night as Kevin Sherazin has been ejected. Bleck into the offensive zone. He'll walk it. Here's Bleck. Slap shot goes off the stick of Matt Cook and up and out of play. 12:59 remaining in the second. 2-1 the score in favor of Rio Grande Valley as the faceoff will be to the right of Austin Shaw. As Shaw has not been too busy tonight. The first goal he gave up, you'd be hard-pressed to really fault him for it at all. He got hung out to dry after a bad play in the defensive zone. It was compounded by a awkward bounce off the glass support. Rio Grande Valley wins another faceoff. Back to the blue line it goes. Claire plays it back around towards the corner along the kick plate. Trying to step free and playing it back to the blue line. Here's Claire once more. Claire towards the net. Glove saved by Shaw. He saw that one late, but saw it anyway, did Shaw. 12:47 remaining in the second period. 2-1 the score in favor of Rio Grande Valley. And once more, the Cats getting hemmed in a little bit in their defensive zone. It'll be to the right of Shaw. In a short series like this, obviously you always want to take game one, but in a short series like this, it just becomes so crucial as this is Austin Azanaro poking it free and skittering it down the ice. Wasn't going to be able to turn the corner. Here is Reisinger. Reisinger behind the net, can't dig it free as he had his stick locked up. Holding the zone here on the near side was Subri, but it was only into the body of Kevin Clare as Clare will move this one along. Clare back along to the near side, picking it up and moving it forward here for Rio Grande Valley was Lorraine. He'll chase this one down, but Cherniak the first to it there. Couldn't clear past Swingle. Swingle back down along the glass it goes. Behind the net, Cherniak first to it for the Wildcats. Plays it towards the corner as Azanaro will have to dig for it. Cherniak and Azanaro. Azanaro sweeps this one back along to the far side wall. It trickles out into the neutral zone over the stick of Jack Weiss with 12 minutes remaining in the second period. Shaw will step out of his crease to play this one here. Looking to move it along was Cam Knight. Reisinger couldn't get it free. Zumalides towards the net. Parker Wood deflected there, and it was behind Croston. So it's Lazarus now. Lazarus trying to walk to the middle. He'll gain the zone and float this one in deep. To the right wing wall here is Lazarus. Tries to protect here as Jack Weiss put him under pressure. Floated high up into the air here by Zumalides. As chasing it down here is Crossan, but Cook just gets back to angle him off and cut him off. Headman pass. Getting a stick to it there was Albrecht, so no icing here. If he had caught it cleanly, it would have been a good breakaway chance. Either way, Albrecht in possession, sent through the middle. Lazarus was camped out on the back door in a quiet area, but it was intercepted. No icing here as Townsend is going to race back. Bleck puts him under pressure. Bleck goes awkwardly into the wall there, slowly back to his feet. Lazarus. It was punched away from him. Albrecht goes into the offensive zone. It's jab free once more as now Wendling comes up the ice. Here's Wendling walking in. Shot. Blocker saved there by Austin Shaw from the top of the left wing circle. Bees hold the zone once more, however. It's G-Rads now, just in front of the Rio Grande Valley bench with 11 minutes remaining in this second period as Balsamo somehow steps free. Toe drag, here's Balsamo in front there, and a good recovery play by Albrecht to head him off at the pass. Nilsson was able to hold his own, back towards the net, wide of the cage. Following up on the back door is Balsamo. Balsamo on his backhand swings it down towards the right wing corner. This second period has been all Rio Grande Valley. It's Swingle now behind the net with it, playing it to Black. Rather Lorraine behind the cage. Swingle with it once more. The right wing side it goes. At the half wall, they'll scrum for it to a side battle as APAP tries to dig it loose. Still they scrum for it. Still it's not worked free. Swingle and Lorraine in there with Balsamo, but it's Townsend pulling it free. Someone lost a stick. That allowed Townsend to move it along for Matt Cook as the Wildcats will look to break out. 10-15 remaining in the second as here comes Matt Cook now. Slows things down. Lost in the skates of Lazarus here. That allows Rio Grande Valley to send it right back down. This is Bennett. Bennett behind the net with it. It's popped up into the air as Townsend got a stick in the way. Hooked it back to the near side. The Wildcats are getting hemmed in their own zone right now as Bennett plays it behind the net for Connor Wood. Here's Connor Wood. He can't stash out in front. Cook will take this one behind the cage. On his backhand, he'll glass this one down the ice. Will it go for icing here? No, they'll wave it off as they say someone got a glove to it as it went by. Here is Kevin Clare, banked it along for Connor Wood. Wood chipped it into the stride of a teammate, but it just skipped over his blade as Subri swings this one in deep. It's Oakley now fighting for it behind the net. He'll lose out. Weiss, now it's Bennett. Bennett stood up there hard along the near side wall by Subri as the Bees are still in possession though. Connor Wood trying to dig it free from Cam Knight. Knight sent into the Rio bench area as Jeff Baum will take this at his own blue line. Walking in here is Subri. His shot wide of the cage and Johansson covers up the carom off the back wall. 9-12 remaining in the second period. 2 on the score in favor of the Killer Bees. Ben Horner with you on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Shots on goal, 15-7 according to the big board here at the K. Yeager Coliseum, which would make them 4-2 in favor of the Wildcats in this period. However, Rio Grande Valley has had a couple of shots that just went wide of the cage that if they had hit the net, this game could be 3-1 or 4-1. Cam Black had pretty much the entire net to shoot at and somehow hit the wall. Then Anthony Croston had a good section of twine to shoot for, but again, he sent it wide as well. As right now, the Wildcats living a little bit dangerously, and a lot of what it stems to is they are kind of inviting pressure on themselves in the defensive zone thanks to an inability to move it quickly. We've spot shadowed this over the last few weeks. Coach LaFontaine has really stressed to his defensemen and really everybody on the team, keep the puck moving, move it quickly. You don't have to make the home run pass every time, but at the very least, keep the puck moving and don't allow second, third, and fourth chance opportunities for the opposing team to pour in on the forecheck. Face off to the right of Johansson. Staub will take it. Going against Anthony Croston. Sent down the ice, as will it go for icing? No, it will not. Walking forward here is Colin Staub. Into the zone, here's Staub. In front there through the blue paint, as trying to work this one along and holding it in momentarily was Knight, but they say he did not hold that in at the blue line. So a neutral zone faceoff will be upcoming. 8:51 remaining in the second. Colin Staub, a guy who, despite being in his third year in Wichita Falls and despite the Wildcats making the playoffs last year, he played in one playoff game in that series as he was nursing a shoulder injury through the first two. Ironically enough, he suffered that injury in practice when he was hit by then tender and now teammate Austin Hinchin along the wall. Behind the cage of Austin Shaw as Cherniak tries to ladle it along. He'll lose out. Oakley can't dig this one free as Rio Grande Valley sends this one back down. Cherniak outdueled there behind the net as trying to pick this one up and sending it towards the middle there was Black as off to the far side it's Weiss. Weiss behind the net trying to dig it free. It squirts loose to the corner for Wendling. Wendling now hooking away. Wendling fed towards the middle there off a skate. Held in at the blue line by Claire. Claire off to Weiss. Weiss, his shot goes wide of the cage. Claire trying to hustle along to the near side half wall and hold in, and he does, sending it behind the net, but Cherniak will chip it off the back wall for Shane Kosmeski. Here is Kosmeski now. He'll look to gallop forward. Puts on the brakes. Checks back to the left wing side. Didn't get to the red line here, but they'll wave off the icing nonetheless. A break for the Wildcats. This is Kevin Clare with 7:45 remaining in the second period. Down the ice it goes. Rio Grande Valley walks in onside play. Swingle takes it to the right wing corner and outduels Baum for it. Now Baum getting back in position. Tries to tie him up, but Swingle steps free. Here's Swingle. Wraparound chance. Puck is loose, and Shaw makes the save. 7:35 remaining in the second period. Shaw making the save here as a lot of action in the end of the Wildcats defensive zone in the 12 or so minutes of this period. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network as they got this game going in good fashion. 1-0, they took the lead in the first 4 minutes. A couple of goals since then for Rio Grande Valley, and Kevin Sherazin getting ejected have been a problem for the Cats. They're going to be down a man for the remainder of this contest, at least in terms of guys on the bench, as Lorraine walks this one in. Baum took it away from him as Tommy Apap protects and plays it along to the near side wall. Overskated there by Lazarus. Coming along though is Townsend. He'll walk this one in down the right wing side. Townsend sealed off it here by Lorraine. Tied up as Lazarus tries to hold his own. Stop. Nice kick there as he was just able to do so. Loose puck held once more by Stop. Stop. His shot goes high and wide of the cage to the glass. It goes. Now it's Lazarus. Lazarus down behind the net wanting Stop. Stop. Tied up there by Lorraine as Lazarus gets back involved. He'll win it back. Lazarus backhander up to the blue line. Here is Baum walking through some traffic towards the net there. Loose puck as Balsamo will pick this one up for Rio Grande Valley and play this one into the glove of Shaw from 100 feet away. Baum might have been better served stepping into a one-timer there as he had a man in front. Either way, the Wildcats look to turn back up the ice as Litviak moved it for Colin Stop. Stop gains his own at the left wing side. Towards the front of the net there, Litviak settles and goes to the corner. It's Bolio trying to hook in front for Stop. Off the outside of the cage. It's Bolio from Stop once more. Bolio again, his centering feed blocked there as Connor Wood picks this up. Wood down the right wing side, he'll gain the red line and play it towards the cage of Shaw, who will cover up here as we'll get a whistle. 6:12 remaining in the second period. Wildcats trailing 2-1 in Game 1 of the South Division semifinals as is the play-in round here getting underway, and the other play-in round tomorrow night, a Friday and Saturday first two games for Corpus Christi, the number 4 seed, and the Wenatchee Wild, the number 5 seed. The Wild coming into the action this weekend, having won 4 of their last 5. Meanwhile, Corpus Christi 4-7 in the month of March. So two teams with differing fortunes over the last few weeks, as this is Max Reisinger getting it back along to Townsend. Here's Townsend, shot, skips off the right pad there. He'll get it right back in the corner towards the front of the net there, and Farmer couldn't dig it out of midair. It was played all the way down the ice. It'll come up well short of icing as Matt Cook has to take this one back away in front of Parker Wood. He'll turn around the net and look to come up the ice. Now here's Matt Cook. Cook gains his own. Nice skate here by Cook. At the right wing half wall, he's angled off, tries to feed the middle. Instead, it was intercepted. So it's Parker Wood. Now it's Clare. He'll fan on the dump in here. Delayed offside allows Matt Cook to move it quickly up the ice for Reisinger. Here's Reisinger at the left wing circle. Shot flashes wide of the right hand post. Now it's Baum. Baum jabbed away from him but held in by as an arrow. Back down the wall he goes as the Wildcats will finish up their change. Weiss. His pass to a teammate was intercepted. That was Bleck who wanted it. Instead, the Wildcats will play catch in the neutral zone as Baum moves this one up the right wing wall, wanting Albrecht. Albrecht chips this one in. No icing here as Farmer will go in after it. Tied up behind the net as Albrecht worked it free. Here's Albrecht. His pass was ambitious there. Had a guy at the point. Instead tried to go for Oakley. It was intercepted. Albrecht skating for Kevin Sherazin right now, who received a game ejection in the first period as it's behind the net for Albrecht. Albrecht in front for Knight there, and it skipped over his blade. Good defensive play there by Baum in the offensive zone as he jabbed it away. Otherwise, Rio Grande Valley would have had a breakaway. To the corner, it's played once more for Oakley. Oakley trying to fight through the check of Weiss. Taken free there by Wendling. Albrecht tries to walk forward. Oakley with it still. Now it's Farmer's shot blocked there. Oakley to the blue line for Cam Knight. Now it's Kosmeski. Skipped over his blade. Kosmeski hacks at it towards the corner. Albrecht there. Swatted it along. Here's Oakley now on the near side. Through the net there, or through the middle of the ice towards the net. And it was kicked away. Down the ice it goes. And this will be icing here against Rio Grande Valley. 4:17 remaining in the second period. That is the first spell of extended pressure in the offensive zone for the Cats in that period. As they'll get an offensive zone draw, and it looks like Rio Grande Valley is going to take their timeout. Yes, they will. So that will enable the Killer Bees to change up their unit. However, we'll keep an eye on that one, see if not having a timeout will play any role later on in the game. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. 4:17 remaining in this second period. Cats are trailing 2-1. By the way, we have received word that the issue with live stats is on the point streak end of things and is working to be resolved as we speak. So if you were trying to follow the live stats on pointstreak.com, you're going to be out of luck, but you can go ahead and tune in here on our broadcast as we're bringing you Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. And the Wildcats got off, as we've mentioned, got off to a 1-0 lead. They now trail 2-1. And after spending the first 7 or 8 minutes or so, or the better part of the first 8 to 10 minutes of this period in their defensive zone, and surviving a couple of scares from Croston and Black, the Wildcats trying to get back on the front foot here towards the end of this second period. Stick around after this period, by the way. We'll have our interview with Nick Farmer, who recently committed to Niagara. This is Cook holding in towards the net, deflected, saved by Johansson, and he'll cover up. Staub was the one who got to stick to it. That takes a couple of seconds off the clock. 4:10 remaining in the second now. But that's what I've been talking about. Johansson looking locked in between the pipes right now. That's a good play by Cook to get it on net. Staub got to stick to it, but Johansson at the top of his crease making himself big, cutting down the angle and swallowing up that deflected attempt into the big body. Face off. It's kicked free to the point. Chernyuk tries to go back down the wall and does. Deprez wasn't able to get it past Staub, so this is Staub in the right wing corner. He'll fight off a check. Deprez steps in front of him, though, as he'll clear it only as far as Kosmeski at the blue line. Kosmeski back down behind the net. It's Staub looking to go in front there, and it was away from Bolio. Litviak and Bolio combined to hold his own. Bolio, now it's Chernyuk, right circle. His shot floats just wide after it was deflected. Litviak here, left it behind in the corner. Bolio gets it right back and goes to the blue line with it for Kosmeski. Kosmeski shot towards the net there. It was off a leg. Bolio and Kosmeski try to hold his own. Kosmeski and Bolio do exactly that. Here is Kosmeski now in the left wing corner. He'll be tied up as now he'll step free. It's Kosmeski in front for Staub. His shot was blocked there. Another good play by Kosmeski to get it out in front, but Staub had his chance blocked. It's Staub in front again, wanting Bolio instead of the blue line. Kosmeski, one-timer there on a loose puck, and it's steered wide. Chip pass Litviak. He'll re-corral, and as the Wildcats tag up on a delayed offside, he'll send it back in deep. 3:05 remaining in this second period. This will be icing here against the Bees as on the lunge across the way, Logan Wendling wasn't able to get a stick to it, so the Wildcats will get another offensive zone face-off out of this. 3:03 remaining in the second as they've been mounting some solid pressure over the last couple of minutes here in the closing stages of this second frame. Nothing to show for it yet, though, as thus far, Johansson has made 16 saves on 17 shots. Clean win on the faceoff, and isn't that the Wildcats' luck thus far in the draw? They get a clean win, and it was back to a vacant point. Apap, nice recovery there by Swingle, as this will be an offside on Austin Swingle, as he kept it from skating in uncontested. 2:52 remaining in this second period. 2-1 the score in favor of the Killer Bees. Zone faceoff upcoming here. Aside from the 4 minutes of power play time and a game ejection assessed to Kevin Sheridan, been a relatively clean game thus far. Lazarus and now Townsend, and now Lazarus once more off the faceoff. Lazarus's pass was off a leg. Cook corrals and shifts it quickly along for Matt Cook as Lazarus turned it over again. He wanted Apap. Apap, nice recovery here. Apap walking towards the middle. Albrecht jabbing for it. Apap trying to hold his own. Couldn't get a shot towards the net as Parker Wood took this one away. Wood down the right wing wall. He'll play this one behind the cage of Shaw. He'll sweep this one away. Loose puck there. It's turned over to the Wildcats as Apap will look to start it forward. His pass intercepted by Bleck, and it goes out of play. 2:19 remaining in the second. Wildcats are trailing 2-1, and how many times in this period have you heard me say pass intercepted or pass off a leg? The Wildcats love that stretch play from left to right wing wall or vice versa, but right now it's not there. Rio Grande Valley doing a good job of getting bodies through the middle of the ice to keep the Wildcats from being able to get those passes clicking. Evan Bell serving it back for Jack Weiss as Weiss will skate to the red line, now to the blue line. Here is Weiss towards the net, off a leg. That was Konstantin Chernyuk with 2 minutes remaining in this second period. Black given a little bump there by Subri, but he'll continue on here as behind the net and now to the corner it runs. Here is Black towards the front of the net there. Kosmeski will intercept this one and clear it down the right wing wall. Nilsson back along for Lorraine. Weiss giving a good bump as Kosmeski has it in his own zone and turned it over to Wendling. He has some trouble with it here in front of the penalty boxes though, as his hammer dump in is intercepted by Kosmeski. Did Suber get a stick to it here? No, he did not, so this will be icing with 1:32 remaining in the second. Wildcats will have to deal with a defensive zone draw coming here with 92 seconds remaining in the second period. Reminder, stick around in the second intermission. We'll hear from Nick Farmer about his recent commitment to Niagara University in the Atlantic Hockey Association, just north of Buffalo. Beautiful part of Western New York, kind of straddling the border between Western New York and Ontario. Off the face-off, Subri has some trouble with it along the far side wall. He'll tie his man up, though, and try to work it free in the last minute 20 of this second period. Farmer can't work this one loose either, as still they'll dig for it. It's under Subri, and finally we'll get the whistle here, as Farrell decided enough was enough, with 1:15 remaining in the second. Face-off will be to the left of Austin Shaw in the offensive zone of Rio Grande Valley, who's been enjoying some lengthy spells of offensive zone time thus far here in the second as they try to stretch their lead. Off the face-off, which was won by Staub, Litviak looks to motor forward for Wichita Falls. Here's Litviak, around one man, now another. Litviak fighting through some checks. He'll play this one towards the right wing corner as Bolio looks to reverse it back behind. Bolio now Staub behind the net. Litviak with it here in the right wing corner. His pass was intercepted. Knight holds it at the right point, goes down the wall. Last minute of play in the period brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites, as this is played up the glass and into the neutral zone by Rio Grande Valley. Baum floats this one back in. To the left wing corner it goes down the glass. First to it here behind the net. It was overskated by Clare. Knight tries to hold in and does. Here is Knight. Now Litviak right circle. Litviak holding. Pass. Oh, and it just trickled wide off a leg in front as he was trying to go backdoor for Bolio. Here is Bolio trying to dig it loose. 26 seconds remaining. Bolio. It's tied up, but he worked it free. Bolio. Now it's bombed towards the net. Saved there by Johansson. And we get the whistle. 21.6 seconds remaining in the second period. And just to go back to that chance for Litviak a moment ago, he's at the top of the right wing circle. He's got space around him to shoot, and he elects to pass, and he plays it through 4 or 5 legs, or tried to play it through 4 or 5 legs, and at this point, down 2-1, the Wildcats might be better against the goaltender who has been solid thus far. The Wildcats might be better just getting it on net, trying to get a rebound and get a scrum. That's how they scored their first goal. This one played around the board. Zumalitas skates in. He got to stick to it so there's no icing in the last 10 seconds of this second period. Held in here on the near side. Crossing towards the net, cut out there by Townsend. Townsend fights through a penalty, which will be assessed to Parker Wood, as we will get the whistle, as touching up with 2.6 seconds remaining are the Bees. So, the Wildcats will at the very least start the third period on the man advantage, their second of the night, as Parker Wood gets 2 minutes for hooking with 2.6 seconds remaining in the second period. So the Wildcats will get one last offensive zone draw here in this second frame here at the KYC. They'll overload everybody to the net side, try and win it cleanly back to either the point or the shooting hole, and just throw everybody towards the crease and see whatever may happen. APAP washed out of the draw here after they took too long to get set. Brennan running a tight ship on the dot. Lazarus will now step in. Big loss for the Wildcats as APAP is their top face-off man. Lazarus won it back, but he couldn't get it all the way to Townsend, as there goes the horn in the second period of action. So, what can you say about that middle 20? The Wildcats spent the first half of that frame in their own zone, getting hemmed in, and might feel a little bit lucky not to be down 3-1 or 4-1 Meanwhile, the second half of the period saw the Wildcats starting to mount some pressure, but nothing to show for it, as Johansson is standing tall in the Rio Grande Valley cage. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have our interview with Nick Farmer, as well as more coverage on the intermission report as Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing. We'll continue after this on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Back at the K. Yeager Coliseum, Ben Horner here with you on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. We are through 20 minutes we have 20 minutes remaining through 40 minutes of play. Rio Grande Valley holding a 2-1 lead. It was that scoreline at the end of the first period. No further scoring in the second, but not for lack of trying, as both Anthony Croston and Stathis Sumalides had brilliant scoring opportunities for the Killer Bees, while Colin Staub and Austin Albrecht were among the Wildcats who had good opportunities at the other end. We'll turn our attention away from the action just on the ice just for a moment, as now we will hear from Nick Farmer, who recently committed to Niagara University of the Atlantic Hockey Association. I had a chance to speak with Nick earlier in the week, who is getting ready to wrap up his third season here in Wichita Falls, and here is Ben Horner with you here, Wildcats fans, and joining me now is Wildcats forward Nick Farmer with some very good news. Nick recently committed to Niagara University of the Atlantic Hockey Association. Nick, first and foremost, congratulations on a commitment that's been a long time coming. Everyone around this organization and your previous teams knows how hard you've worked to reach this point. Thanks for taking some time to join us, and right off the bat, what's your initial reaction to finally getting this Division I commitment secured?
It's been, I feel great. It's been a long time coming, but I'm still focusing on playoffs a lot. It's the end of the year, and we have to focus on what really counts, and that's in the future. But it's great to get that off your back of your mind. That's why you're here, to get a Division I scholarship and a Division I commitment. But still, you're playing for playoffs and that league championship, so you got to keep that in your mind.
It certainly comes at an interesting time of the season for you, Nick, as you just mentioned, the playoffs right around the corner for the Wildcats, taking on the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees in round one this Thursday and Friday. Before we dive back into that a little bit, take us through your recruiting process overall, because it's been an up and down process for you over the last couple of years. This year in particular, though, it seemed like the process was a little bit smoother for you.
Yeah, like last year, I still talk to some schools, but with our placing in the division, like for prospects and stuff, we only sent 3 guys, and so nothing really happened there. I didn't go to prospects last year, and this year it's been good. It's in my 3rd year, so I have a lot more confidence than the past 2 years, and I got to go to prospects, which was like an unbelievable experience. You look up playing the USA U18 team, and there's just all black coat scouts in the stands, so it was very cool for that, and a really good exposure going to that.
To touch a little bit more on the Top Prospects tournament, do you think that played a really large role in your recruiting process this year?
Yeah, definitely. There I talked to a bunch of schools, and that's where Niagara saw me, and they called me from there, so it really did help a lot.
Back to last year a little bit, though, there was some whispers at the end of the year that there might be a commitment coming through the pipeline for you. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out. How do you, coming into your final year of junior eligibility, how do you put that behind you? How do you put that out of your mind and try and refocus yourself and continue to chase that goal?
You're coming into your last year of junior hockey, so what I tried to do is just keep thinking positive and have as much fun with it as I could, because it's my last year at juniors, and tried not really thinking about the division or the college hockey stuff until it happened and stuff, and I just focused on having fun and getting a good last year of juniors in with all my teammates.
Career highs in goals, career highs in assists, career highs in points. Nick, was there something about this year that just everything seemed to line up for you, or was it just a combination of the players that you've had an opportunity to play with this year, knowing this league, being that little bit older, a little bit more experienced, that made it such a successful regular season for you?
Yeah, I definitely got to give all the credit to my teammates and stuff, and my line mates I've had the privilege to play with all year. And yeah, 3rd year coming in, you're a leader on the team and stuff, and you got to prove to your teammates and to everyone around that you've been here for a while and that you can play and stuff.
So now that presents an interesting opportunity, because while you've got that, and Colin Staub has mentioned this as well, while you've got that thought of a commitment in the back of your mind, there's still that responsibility of, especially at the beginning of the year,
okay, we've got a bunch of guys who are coming into their first season of junior eligibility. Taking on that quiet leadership role at the beginning of the year, do you think that played a positive impact in helping you stay focused on the task at hand, which was helping this team win? And correspondingly, that creates the opportunities for the recruiting options.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, guys coming into the league first year, I mean, I was nervous first time being away from home like that, and you're nervous and stuff, and just being close with the guys and stuff and leading the way quietly, or like you said, Stav's been a great leader, and he's shown every guy like how hard to work and stuff. And Towns and me are being our third year, done a good job leading the way, and it's been a really good year so far.
Let's talk about Niagara more specifically, Nick. And this is a program that is on the up. They've got some new facilities there, and as a program, they've been doing better over the last few years, playing in the Atlantic Hockey Association, which some people might not associate as a traditional college hockey powerhouse. Although we should note, RIT, the Atlantic Hockey Champions, recently knocked out the #1 overall seed in the NCAA Men's Ice Hockey Tournament. So certainly, any conference is a good conference to play D1 college hockey in. Nick, what about that school and what about that program really grabbed your attention, really drew you to that program?
Yeah, I mean, when I went for my visit, it's a beautiful place, Western New York, and the campus, it's small. It's a smaller school, and more one-on-one with teachers in the classroom and stuff. And the guys I really bonded with, and the coaches were great. I mean, they were friendly guys and stuff, that really helped my decision out. And the Atlantic Conference, I mean, it's a great conference. You have an opportunity to put up points, and you
Play with and against a whole bunch of former teammates. Looking forward to that first time you see the Air Force Falcons on the schedule?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's gonna be what 6 guys
At
that I've
least.
played with the past 3 years. Chance to bond with them again.
Next season, is it just the overall experience of playing college hockey? Is it playing in front of all those fans and the students? What are you most looking forward to as you start your college experience?
Just moving on, going to school and stuff while playing hockey and getting a great education while playing hockey.
Any concerns about stepping back into the classroom after a few years away here, Nick?
No, actually, I'm pretty excited to get back into it. I mean, you play a couple years of juniors, and you get a little bored, and you start getting back into reading and classroom stuff, and you get more and more excited.
It's an interesting mindset, really, because you come out of high school and everyone's ready to be done with class, and then all of a sudden a year or two away, and you get that itch coming back again. Nick, let's talk a little bit about your time here in Wichita Falls, and it has been a long time. 3 years. Not too many players throughout franchise history have had that luxury, that opportunity to become such a big part of this community over the last few years. What's going to stick out to you? What's going to be your fondest memory of your time here in Wichita Falls?
Just how close everyone is. I mean, with the organization, with the team, over the past 3 years, I think we've had. I mean, our team has bonded like no other, and the coaches have been great, and the whole community. I mean, when we go out and do community stuff, the people are just so nice here, and they're so welcoming to all the kids that are coming from out of town and new places, and they've been really great here.
With the commitment secured, you mentioned the playoffs. How do you stay focused, and how do you go about making sure your teammates are focused as the playoff run comes to a head here?
Like I said before, we're a really bonding team, and we all really get along together. So we just try to reiterate like the season can end whenever, and like we got to keep going and as long as we can, and stay together as long as we can.
Now, one other note here, Nick, and people who are listening to this interview after the fact won't be able to see this, but Nick has one of the most aggressive and impressive flows that we've seen in the last couple of years here. And there's actually an interesting story to it. It started out as just a little bit of a friendly bet between you and Jake Townsend, was it not?
Yeah, me and Jake, we bet, or I actually bet him $10 that I would not cut my hair the whole season. I haven't gotten a haircut since July 22nd, I think, in the summer. So I'm gonna keep that going as long as I can.
So basically, it's been since main camp, and you haven't had a single trim.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Right before main camp, I got it cut, and ever since, nothing.
Oh man. Well, if you don't come away with flow of the month this month, I'm going to be severely disappointed. Nick, we're going to give you an opportunity to say a few thank yous to the people who have helped you along the way. So take it away.
Yeah, I would just like to thank the whole Wildcat organization, the coaches, and everything. The past 3 years, they've been nothing but great help, and my teammates, I couldn't have done it without any of them. They've been great. They've been supportive, and my billets, Jack and Tracy Kobe, for letting me stay with them for 3 years, and of course my parents, my friends back home. They've been nothing but supportive, and I mean, you start playing hockey at 4 years old, and you're 20 years old as soon as you know it, and I mean, they've supported me the whole way, so I just really like to say thank you to all you guys.
And a nice little added thank you. Nick will be attending Niagara University on a 4-year full ride. So all that investment and all those early morning skates and new bags and new pads and new equipments and new sticks, I'm sure they're going to be pretty happy for that one. Nick, once again, congratulations on a very well-deserved commitment.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to keeping tabs on your exploits next season and beyond. Nick Farmer recently committed to Niagara University. Everyone at the Wildcats sends a hearty congratulations to Nick.
Thank
We'll
you.
step aside. When we come back, more Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing. Wildcats forward and recently committed Nick Farmer, who will head to Niagara University at the end of this season, start of next season. As he's hoping, though, that this season is not quite over yet. They're trailing 2-1 are the Wildcats in Game 1 of their best-of-3 series against the Killer Bees. They'll start off the third period with 1:58 of power play time against Rio Grande Valley, as Parker Wood will serve the remainder of his hooking minor. Can the Wildcats level things up and get this third period underway in strong fashion? We'll find out on the other side of the break when Wildcats hockey presented by Armored Roofing continues just after this. 20 minutes to find a tying goal for the Wildcats, or they're going to be down 1-0 in this best of three South Division play-in series to kick off the 2015 Robertson Cup playoffs. Ben Horner back here with you at the K. Yeager Coliseum on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network, as it's Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing. 2-1 the score in favor of Rio Grande Valley as we enter the final frame here at the KYC. The Wildcats have a minute 58 of carryover power play time. And not to get too drastic too early, or too dramatic I should say, but you just get the feeling that the Wildcats are going to need to capitalize on this opportunity, lest Rio Grande Valley shut up shop in the neutral zone and try and slow this game down and clog it up. As the puck is down, we are underway in the third period, brought to you by American Classified, as the Cats wearing their white sweaters are moving from right to left across your screen. Here is Matt Cook, as Cook will skate down the left wing wall. Cook dumps this one in. Here is Staub now. Staub in the right wing corner, waiting for someone to get to the front of the net as Cam Knight will walk this back to the blue line. Knight, top of the right wing circle. His shot saved there by Johansson, and he will get a whistle as he got that one cleanly. 19:38 remaining in the third. Johansson, aside from a goal that was dug loose in the first 4.5 minutes of the game, he has been impenetrable tonight. Wildcats are were 2-12-1 in the regular season when trailing after two. Loose puck here, digging for it in front of the net. Here's Apep, and Johansson gets a piece to send it to the net. 19:30 remaining in the third. Apep pulled it free, loaded a backhander for the top shelf, and he got a piece of that. Johansson charging out from his goal line to cut down the angle, as that will keep the faceoff to the left of Johansson. Win here by Apep. Back to the blue line. Here's Matt Cook. Cook, shot. Goes wide there. Might have been deflected wide there as Cam Knight picks this one up. Outside the right wing circle. Here's Bolio. Wasn't able to catch this pass cleanly, and now he wasn't able to corral it cleanly as shorthanded. Here is Lorraine. This was G-Rads, 8 not 18. He'll send this one in deep and hustle to the bench for a change. Minute 5 remaining on the Wildcats power play as Cam Knight walks through traffic, gains the red line, and plays this one in deep. Oakley the first to it there, but he's bumped off it behind the cage as Nilsson tries to work it free. Trying to dig it loose and doing so, here is Oakley to the blue line and Matt Cook at the left point. Here is Cook walking towards the middle of the blue line. Now it's Oakley at the left wing circle towards the net. Easily steered wide there with Cam Knight in front. Knight the first to this loose puck, rounding on it. Now Oakley through the middle, shot, and they score! Farmer from the bottom of the circle. The Wildcats tie this one up on the power play. 18:42 remaining in the third as the Cats are back level. It was a centering feed from Oakley. It got to Farmer. It looked like Johansson had gotten enough to keep it out, but it just slips home, and we're back tied up. So 2-2 the score. 18:42 remaining in the third. Farmer on the goal. The his second career postseason goal, and obviously first of this year as we're back to 5-on-5 play. Kosmeski, did someone get a stick to this? No, it will be icing with 18:23 remaining in the third. So now tied up 2 apiece. Can the Wildcats push the advantage here and use that to develop some momentum and take a lead? Face-off will be to the left of Austin Shaw here, who has not had too much to do here this evening. Face-off into the body of Kosmeski. He'll try to chop it free. Held in at the blue line here is Weiss. Play deliberately wide of the cage. Shaw with a quick left leg to seal off the post on a bank attempt. Here is Albrecht now. He'll look to motor forward. Stretch pass. Here is Lazarus. Hauled down from behind. Penalty upcoming here, and it's going to be against Rio Grande Valley, as touching up across the way was, I believe, Lorraine. Lorraine trying to say that Lazarus gave him a little bit of an elbow as he went down. Either way, the Cats, who have just tied this up on a power play goal, are going to head back to the power play, as skating over to serve a couple of minutes is Trevor Abbott. League leading power play unit for the Wildcats is 9 for 31 in the regular season against Rio Grande Valley. Now 1 for 2 here tonight, looking to go 2 for 3. Here is Matt Cook walking towards the middle. Now it's Knight, right circle, shot blockered away there by Johansson as Knight didn't get all of the effort. Here is Knight, now Cook once more. It's Cook, near side Bolio at the left circle. Bolio now walking towards the middle, hooks it back along. Here is Matt Cook now at the left wing wall. Here is Cook, walks it back to the blue line. Cook, slow with it, now gives to Bolio at the left wing circle. Bolio down into the corner. Here's Staub, and a one-touch pass looking for Bolio. Split everybody and goes all the way down the ice. 17:30 remaining in the third. Here is Matt Cook. He'll move it along for Austin Bolio. Bolio along for Colin Staub now. Staub will play this one off the wall. Gets stood up here as this is back into the neutral zone as Cook was just able to step in front of Nielsen to prevent a shorthanded chance. So Farmer comes back into the zone. Has it jabbed away from him. Staub picks it up though. Here is Staub in the right wing corner. Wildcats have another minute 5 of power play time. Here is Cam Knight in a 2-2 game in the third period. Game 1 of the South Division playing round. Knight all the way around to the zone and up to the blue line for Matt Cook. Here is Matt Cook. Now it's Bolio back for Cook. Cook with some room shot saved there by Johansson as someone was in front trying to get a stick to it there, but and we're not able to direct it past Johansson. 16:52 remaining in the third. Face-off will be coming to the right of Ben Johansson. The Cats have 50 seconds of power play time remaining. Trevor Abbott is serving 2 minutes for holding. Face-off, pulled back to the point from Lazarus to Townsend. Here is Townsend to the middle. Now it's Lazarus at the left circle. Into the corner. Oakley shot there from an acute angle, and that goes all the way to the far side glass. Chernyuk has some trouble with it here. Springing it loose and walking it forward are the Killer Bees. Jabbed away from a man on the back check there. Nice play as wanting to walk in shorthanded was Zumalitis, but it was spiked away. So Townsend will run it along for Lazarus. Lazarus fights through the check of Deprez and gains a zone. Here is Lazarus now. Drop pass for Chernyuk, who plays this one around the wall. Behind the net it goes. Weiss first to it there. He'll pick this one up as he can't clear the zone though as Chernyuk holds in towards the net. Johansson steers it wide. 10 seconds remaining in the Wildcats power play as this one is cleared all the way down the ice by the Killer Bees, and that should do it on the Wildcats' third power play of the night. It'll come up empty as out of the box is Trevor Abbott. Back to 5-on-5 play. Skating onto this one down the left wing wall now, cutting towards the middle. Here is Farmer. Jabbed away from him by Trevor Abbott as he was getting back to the bench from the box as this is held in by Austin Azanaro. Azanaro, now Chernyuk. They weren't able to combine to hold the zone. Reiser comes along to help out as Rio Grande Valley looks to build from the back once more. Connor Wood slaps it off the wall across the way. Townsend intercepts in the neutral zone and plays this one back in. Reisinger, first to it here, sends it back behind the cage for Azanaro in the right wing corner. Azanaro tries to flip it up to the blue line. The referee, Tim Farrell, was in the way, so Cam Bluck picks up the loose puck and plays this one in deep after gaining the red line. Shaw left it behind there. Matt Cook took it away and gave to Cam Knight. Here is Knight. Plays it to the near side for Cook. It was behind him. Now gaining the zone. Look out. Here's G-Rads. G-Rads at the right wing circle. Puts on the brakes. Goes towards the net instead to the corner. Now here's Wendling. Loose puck. Picked up here by Cam Knight. He'll play this one off the glass. Not out though. Bleck was able to hold it in momentarily. Now loses out as Apap will step forward. Apap. Now Reisinger. Onside play. Reisinger through the middle for Apap. Loose puck. Hits the post and doesn't go. We play on. The Wildcats that close to taking their second lead of the night. Here is G-Rad, slap shot, steered wide there by Shaw. Follow-up attempt here, trying to maintain possession is Zumalitis. Fed it around to the far side wall. Nilsson pinching in, wasn't able to maintain possession here as Litviak has it, loses out. Subri helping out as well, but still Rio Grande Valley holds his own. Zumalitis, shot blocked, loose puck here, shot saved by Shaw on a good reaction save coming from the stick of Croston. Croston again through the blue paint there, nobody on the back door, and it caroms all the way up and into the neutral zone. 14-15 remaining in the third. Here is Townsend now at his own blue line. Chipped it along, wanting Chernyuk. Chernyuk skates over the red line, swivels and sends this one in deep as the Wildcats will finish up their change. Good step here by the Wildcats in the form of Townsend and Chernyuk, as now Chernyuk will skate down the right wing wall. No icing here as he's the first to it. Chernyuk ties up in the corner and tries to work it loose for Albrecht. Up to the blue line it goes. Townsend one-timer wide of the cage and off the back wall. Apap trying to dig it loose. Here's Chernyuk as well. Chernyuk out in front. They score! It's Albrecht! Great centering feed from his billet brother, Chernyuk to Albrecht, and the Wildcats lead 3-2. Albrecht slammed it into the roof of the net after Chernyuk won it back behind the cage along with Apap. swung it out in front. The Wildcats have scored twice in the first 7 minutes of this third, and they lead 3-2 in game one of this South Division play-in series. Now, can they hold it? Rio Grande Valley has not done much in the way of offense here tonight, just 9 shots on goal. Can they find another gear here after the Wildcats have now taken the lead? Lorraine trying to dig this one loose in the right wing corner of the Bees in their offensive zone. Finally, it squirts free. Here is Lorraine. Cook now has it tied up as Swingle is involved there as well. Finally works it loose. Still now it's tied up once more. Farrell content to let play continue on in this fashion. Towards the front of the net here, and finally we'll get a whistle as it's at the side of the cage and Farrell loses sight. 13 remaining in the third. The Wildcats have turned this one on its head in the third period. 3-2 now the score. Nick Farmer from Evan Oakley and Cam Knight and Tommy Apap. Well, they have that one backwards. That should be Austin Albrecht from Konstantin Chernyuk. Not even close on that one either way. The Cats really don't care. It's 3-2. 2 points on the night now for Nick Farmer and Evan Oakley apiece. As this is played into the catching glove, out of the catching glove of Shaw, caromed off the back glass and onto the back of the cage. No harm, no foul there, but Shaw, who's had some misadventures playing the puck over the last few weeks, got away with one there. This is Albrecht banking it forward. Lazarus was under pressure here as back and collecting. Here's Evan Bell. Bell, pass up the ice. Here is Black walking down the middle. His shot intercepted here. Now Albrecht looks to start it back up the ice. Here's Albrecht skating to the left wing circle. Loading shot saved there by Johansson, and we'll get a whistle. 12:39 remaining in the third. The Wildcats now up 3-2 after trailing 2-1 for much of this contest. A power play goal for each team now, as Evan Oakley, Nick Farmer, and Austin Albrecht have the goals for the Wildcats. Statha Sumalitis and Austin Swingle have the goals for Rio Grande Valley. Face off, one free. Here's Bolio. His shot partially canceled out there by the stick of Zumalitis, as he had a lot of net to shoot at, but couldn't pull the trigger with any urgency. Here's Croston galloping forward now. It's Wood. His shot off a leg there and floats up high and gets the glass. Could have gone anywhere as trying to hold his own, and doing so. Here's Zumalitis towards the net. Off a leg in front and caroms away to the wall for Cam Knight to grab it. Here is Knight using that as some protection here. Now skates to the left wing wall. Banked it for Bolio. Bolio, nice pass up the ice. Stop, couldn't settle a bouncing disc as it's onto the stick of Zumalitis once more. Zumalitis thought about a hard up ice pass. Instead, skates to the red line towards the cage of Shaw, and we'll get a whistle here as Lorraine and Kosmeski come together. 11:57 remaining in the third. 3-2. The Wildcats now lead at the K. Yeager Coliseum. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. And we certainly said right away that the Wildcats were going to need to capitalize on that power play opportunity. And they did exactly that, then built some momentum after the fact. And thanks to the good play of Konstantin Chernyuk below the goal line to win the puck back and then play it in front to Austin Albrecht, the Wildcats are now leading 3-2. Balsamo goes back behind the cage off the face-off here, as trying to win this one loose was Lorraine on the near side wall. It's Swingle. Swingle couldn't get it towards the front of the net, so we'll take it to the right wing corner. Chernyuk picks his pocket and gives to Reisinger, as Reisinger gives to Kosmeski. Up ahead, here's Azanaro. Clean break, but he left it behind. Otherwise, he might have split everybody. Now Kosmeski has to chase this one back. Swingle puts him under pressure. Kosmeski shields the puck, plays it through the middle of the ice, bouncing around. It's taken here by Lorraine, and the Bees control once more. Pass was too far away from Swingle. That allows Kosmeski to step up. His pass intercepted here as Swingle will hold the zone. Swingle has it jabbed away from him by Chernyuk. Nice play there by Konstantin, who's had a fairly solid game, with 11:05 remaining in this third, and the Cats leading 2-1. That one hit Daniel Spoor, the linesman, and goes out of play. That one stung him. Wow. That can't feel good. I think that one caught him in either the left arm or the side there. Try to skate that off. 11:03 remaining in the third. 3-2 the score in favor of the Wildcats here. Face-off will come in the neutral zone. Wildcats have overturned a 2-1 deficit to take a 3-2 lead with goals from Farmer and Apap in the third period. Out of the draw here will be Wendling after G-Rads and Bolio had a bit of a coming together on the near side. Valley has blown a 2-1 lead entering this third. They were 11-2 when leading after 2 periods of play in the regular season. As off the faceoff, this is cleared out of play off of a Wildcat skater, so that'll push the faceoff down low to the left of Austin Shaw. Wildcats did erase a couple of third period deficits, or rather they erased one third period deficit on March the 19th on a late power play goal from Jake Townsend, a big blast from just inside the blue line. Face-off win eludes the reach of Jack Weiss, as he'll have to chase this one back. Claire. Weiss, now Weiss up the ice for Black. Black gaining the zone. He'll play it to the left wing wall and going after it. Battling there with Townsend. Squirts free. Stop picks this one up. Across the way, he wasn't able to clear the zone, but he gets some help as now Bolio steps onto one. Bolio, right wing circle, shot, glove save, juggled, loose puck here. Where is it? It's in the crease, and we'll get the whistle. Never really came close to the goal line there, and we'll say that Johansson had his right pad sprawled out. Now a pile up in front of the net. 10:31 remaining in the third period. The referees separate everybody, and Tommy Apap will remove himself from the net after he lost his helmet and went tumbling into the twine. Face off to the left of Johansson here will be upcoming. 10:31 remaining in the third. The game right now is Austin Albrecht's first career playoff goal. In the regular season, Albrecht had 9 goals and 14 assists for 23 points. Solid first year in the North American Hockey League for Austin Albrecht. First career 3-point night against Amarillo back on March the 24th in that 6-1 win. Win here for the Cats. Litviak loading shot off a stick and gets out of play. They say it's off a Killer Bees stick. So we'll do it all over again with an offensive zone draw. Once again, coming to the left of Ben Johansson with 10:26 remaining in the third. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Johansson allowing over 3 goals per game over his last few outings, as he's done 3 here tonight. This one played wide of the cage. First to it here is Cam Knight. Loose puck towards the net, pops up into the air, caroming around here, and the Wildcats are able to punch it to safety in the neutral zone. Nilsson waits for his teammates to get back on side. They do. This is crossing down the right wing wall. Set up there nicely by Matt Cook. Those two will come together as the White Sweaters pick this one up in the form of Cam Knight. Knight, not sure where he was going with that one. This will be icing here against the Cats. Matt Cook not happy with that call with 9:54 remaining in the third. Halfway through the third period here at the K. Yeager Coliseum. Ben Horner with you here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. As we'll have game 2, same time, same place tomorrow night. One of these teams having an opportunity to eliminate the other. That's going to be guaranteed in this best-of-3 series. First of 2 wins moves on. If the Wildcats win, they'd face Topeka. If Rio Grande Valley wins, they'd face Lone Star. As the Wildcats are able to clear this one off the draw. Back up the ice, though, here's Lorraine. Lorraine, left circle. His shot canceled out and floats to the right wing corner. First to it here on the near side. Tying it up momentarily was Swingle. From his belly, he'll jab it along there. First to it were the Wildcats, though, as Lazarus leads it up the ice for Albrecht. Albrecht returns the favor and gives to Lazarus at the right wing wall. Lazarus gaining the zone. In the corner, here's Lazarus. We're going to go back up to the point. Intercepted here as Cherniak will glove this one down. Lost his stick, however. He was able to kick at it to try and hold the zone. Instead, Rio Grande Valley will start forward. He's gained the zone. Skating left to right. On a backhand, this is Balsamo through the middle of the ice. No one there on the back door. Cherniak is going to get called for a penalty here, and I don't know about that one. Cherniak just collided. Well, skates over to him after the fact. I don't know what Cherniak's supposed to do there. Balsamo skated into Cherniak and drew the penalty. Cherniak wasn't even watching the play. That's a terrible call from Farrell. Not the first time the Wildcats have gotten burned on one of those where a Rio skater skates into a Wildcats defenseman, and Rio Grande Valley earns the penalty call. Cherniak wasn't even looking. He made no effort to play a body on the guy. Balsamo just skated into him, and Farrell either reacted to the situation or did not read that situation cleanly, because if he did, he would have realized that Balsamo just bought a call from him. So, Rio Grande Valley to the power play. They have one to their credit thus far. Weiss to the back door. Intercepted follow-up attempt is swept towards the corner. This is Black up to the blue line. Unable to hold it in here at the near side was Balsamo. Rather, that was Gavin Cummings. Gilmore's collision center penalty on here after a questionable, very questionable interference call against Konstantin Chernyuk. This after Kevin Sherizan was ejected in the first period after a very over-officious call by Tim Farrell. Nice play by Bolio to stand his man up at the blue line. Staub will skate slowly forward and play this one in deep. Remaining in the third. Bees have another minute and 15 seconds of power play time. 1 for 2 on the man advantage are the Killer Bees. Crossan gains a zone. Hard around the wall. To the near side it squirts. This is Zumalitis. Back behind for Crossan. Hard up to the blue line. Here is Cummings. Quickly along it's Bell. Bell shot. Flashes wide of the cage there. Shaw saw that one late. Cummings with it once more at the right point. Goes down towards the corner here. Kosmeski got in the way of Crossan. Crossan won it back though. Zumalitis and Townsend digging for it. Goes away to the far side wall. Subri wasn't able to clear the zone. On a second attempt, Bell is not able to hold the blue line as it skipped over his reach. 7:45 remaining in the third. 40 seconds of power play time remaining for the Killer Bees, who trail 3-2. This is Parker Wood now. The pass was into his skates, so we'll have to collect back and now start forward once more. Rio Grande Valley still unable to gain the zone cleanly, as this is Daniel Nielsen in the last 7.5 of the third. Nielsen, nice play to find Parker Wood. Wood, toe drag, loading shot, goes up high and gets the glass as he was trying to pick the top corner. Held in nicely by Bell. Bell played it to the near side wall, nobody there. Stop, can't swivel it all the way down the ice though. Black, back in come the Bees. Here is Black now. Drop pass. He'll play it towards the corner. Behind the net it goes. Here is Parker Wood. Wood tied up here by Kosmeski, who tries to dig it loose. We'll be back to 5-on-5 hockey right now as Chernyuk is out of the box. Nilsson in the neutral zone. He'll rag this one off and swing it back along. Intercepted by Staub. Here is Staub in a 2-on-1 with Bolio. Staub goes wide of the cage with his shot there. Going for the glove hand side of Johansson. Apap. Fresh into the zone. We're back to 5-on-5 play. The Wildcats leading 3-2 with 6:40 remaining in the third. Apap behind the net for Staub. In front here is Bolio. Loading shot, and he sent it wide of the cage. Staub backhander, and Johansson got a piece to keep it out. Puck loose. Bolio with it again. Bottom of the left wing circle. Here is Bolio walking to the middle. Shot. Backdoor, and a save by Johansson with Apap at the bottom of the circle. Up to the blue line where Knight will keep. Knight back to the half wall for Apap again. Apap towards the middle for Bolio, who is sticked away. Bolio behind the cage for Staub. Touched in front. Here is Apap. Now Knight at the right circle. Shot. Save. Loose puck. They score! It's Colin Staub out of mayhem in the offensive zone. The Wildcats kept the puck moving and finally find the back of the net. They take a 4-2 lead. So, 3 goals unanswered in this third period has the Wildcats up 4-2. 6:09 remaining, and Staub, with a lot of net to shoot at, has scored 24 in the regular season. Wasn't going to miss that one, as in the neutral zone they battle for it. Rio Grande Valley, what response can they muster? Steered wide there by Shaw. Can the Wildcats use this comeback to build something? Not over yet, though. Shot goes wide of the cage there from the blue line, coming from the stick of Kevin Clare. Clare in the neutral zone once more. Rio tags up at the blue line and spills back in. Shaw moved it along for Jeff Baum, as Baum wasn't able to clear the zone. Balsamo one-timer deflected and gets the bar as it goes to the glass. Wendling to the far side, not able to work it free. Bodies flying every which way as Townsend gains the zone. 3-on-2. Townsend, right circle, shot, save, rebound, overskated. Townsend following up here as Townsend will skate to the left wing corner with it. Townsend loses out, tries to hook it down low. Held in nicely by Chernyuk, but now it skips over his stick, and he'll have to chase this one back in the last 5:10 of the third. Puck in the neutral zone. Chernyuk up the wall with it. Crossan intercepts and tries to flip in deep. No icing here. Kosmeski the first back to it in the last 5 minutes. He'll slam this one down the wall. Litviak wasn't able to settle a bouncing puck in the neutral zone as Cherniak has it in his own zone once more. Litviak again. Here is Connor Wood, and it was spiked away from him by Kozmeski. Behind the net for Crossan off the outside of the cage. Loose puck, and the Wildcats will send this one all the way down. Will it go for icing? Yes, it will, with 4:38 remaining in the third. So the Wildcats have turned this one on its head. 3 goals in this third period. It is now 4-2. They have to deal with an icing here. We'll start to keep an eye on Johansson in the cage to our left. Looks like the Wildcats are going to take their timeout. Yes, they will, as they'll get an opportunity to change units out of that. So for the Wildcats, 3 goals in this third period. Evan Oakley got one for the Wildcats at 3:07 of the first. Then there was nothing doing for the Wildcats on offense until Nick Farmer scored on the power play to make it 2-2 at a minute 18 of the third. Then it was Austin Albrecht picking up a goal from Konstantin Cherniak at 6:16 of the third. They have that one as APAP from Albrecht in the box score. Could not be farther away from it. And then Colin Staub at 13:51 just a moment ago to make it 4-2 in favor of the Cats. Back to play here. The faceoff will be to the right of Austin Shaw. Rio Grande Valley looking for a very quick strike here to put the Wildcats under some pressure for the time being, and not really too surprising. The cage is still occupied to our left by Ben Johansson, with 4:38 remaining in the third. Off the faceoff, here is Bolio, hard around the wall. The Wildcats can't clear the zone. Cherniak getting involved. Cherniak has had a good game. Still, they try to scrum for it loose across the way. Still, they move it. Still, they play on as the Wildcats are still trying to force this one free. Everybody is clustered up there across the way. Finally, well, no, still it's not free. This is okay by the Wildcats, as this is going to eat up some time as it's loose along the wall. G-Rads pressed into the boards there by Cherniak. Side up in Cherniak's skates. Farrell and the linesman there towards the net of Shaw and goes wide. First to it here is Nielsen on the near side. Tries to move it along for G-Rads here. G-Rads losing out. Nice defensive play there by Kozmeski as Bolio plays it up the glass off the body of Nielsen at the point, and out of play it goes. So we'll get a neutral zone face-off in front of the Wildcats bench area. 53 remaining here in this third period. If you're just joining us, well, you missed a pretty good one to open the 2015 Robertson Cup playoffs. The Cats were down 2-1 after taking a 1-0 lead, but 3 goals in this third period has made it 4-2. It could be more here. Reisinger and Farmer left it behind, and Farmer wasn't able to get his skate back to the blue line there. With 3:40 remaining in the third, we'll get a neutral zone faceoff. So, what does this all mean? Assuming the Wildcats see out the next 3:40 of this contest with their lead intact, it'll mean they take a 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series and would have an opportunity to close this one out tomorrow night. Game 2 is 7:05 right here at the KYC, as the Wildcats they'd have to win this one first, but should they do that, they would have an opportunity to win their first playoff series in franchise history, albeit a best of 3 play-in round. Rio Grande Valley floats this one down the ice. Goes out of play there into the Wildcats bench area. Where will they put the face-off? That's the big question. 3:19 remaining in the third, and they're going to put it in the neutral zone. We'll check that. They're going to put this one into the offensive zone of the Wildcats. Coming to the right of Johansson, 3:19 remaining in the third, as the Wildcats, as we mentioned, have turned this one on its head. Obviously, these games do not count to the regular season numbers and records and situationals and things of that nature, but should the Wildcats preserve this lead, as this should go for icing against Rio Grande Valley, and will as we get the whistle with 3:13 remaining in the third, should the Wildcats prevail in this game 1, it would just be their 3rd win of the season when trailing entering the 3rd period of play. Hasn't happened too much this year for the Wildcats. In a 60-game regular season, happened just 15 times. Not they were on the losing end of those score lines. This would be, as I mentioned, a nice little feather in their cap, but look out, not done yet. Rio Grande's zone. Shot save there, steered wide. Claire hooks it towards the front, follow-up, and it's blocked in front and goes to the back wall, and the net is off its moorings. I think that was Cam Bleck on the follow-up, charging down the slot. Someone got a block on it here. Let's see, we'll get the replay as it's fed towards the middle. Bleck following up, and Shaw gets a piece with his left shoulder. Great save there by Shaw. He got just enough of a push from his crease to try and cut down the angle, as he was a little bit deep as he was trying to seal the post on a wraparound attempt at first. That's a tough one for a goalie to deal with, but he was just able to keep Bleck from hammering that one into the top corner, as here comes Johansson to the bench for an extra attacker. 2:58 remaining in the third. Net empty, 2 hour left. Quick shot, glove save, spilled and covered by Shaw. 2:55 remaining in the third, and the Wildcats are getting some big saves from their netminder when they need them most. Austin Shaw has not been busy tonight. 12 shots faced. Meanwhile, the Wildcats have put up 35 shots on goal in this contest, according to the big board here at the KYC. Still the net empty, 2 hour left. Extra attacker on for the Bees. Towards the corner here, Bolio picks it up for the Wildcats, cross and holds in towards the net, off a couple of bodies and goes high to the glass. Bolio ramps this one into the neutral zone where Staub picks it up. Empty net trickling down and just wide of the cage. That would have done it. Losing an edge behind the cage was a Rio Grande Valley skater. No matter, they'll get right back up into the play. This is Evan Bell. He'll gain the red line and play this around the boards. 2:30 remaining in the third. Lorraine in there to force Cook to play it behind the net for Cam Knight. Now it's Knight. He fanned on this one. Crossan has it tied up there across the way. Zumalitas getting involved now. 2:15 remaining in this third. Couldn't be swung through the middle, so Crossan takes it to the corner for Zumalitas. Touched it along there, off the outside of the cage of Shaw. It's Parker Wood trying to dig it free. Wood trades places with Zumalitas. Wood couldn't get it past Cam Knight there, as it's picked up by the aforementioned Knight. He'll glass this one, held in there nicely by Nielsen, as Lorraine holds his own. Played it square along the blue line. Held in, yes, nice play there at the point by Evan Bell to keep play alive for Rio Grande Valley. Here is Zumalitas, now Crossan, now it's Wood. Quick pass up to the point. Evan Bell has some trouble with it, but he'll hold towards the net, deflecting it. Shaw with a great paddle save there to sweep it wide as he had to adjust. Here is Bell once more, behind Gavin Cummings. Cummings spins around and plays it off the wall towards the corner. 90 seconds remaining in the third. The Wildcats still leading 4-2. Here is Zumalitas' shot saved. It's loose. Where is it? And it goes to the corner. Staub clears, and Bell wasn't able to hold the zone as it just skipped over his blade. 80 seconds remaining in the third. The Wildcats have a 4-2 lead in game one here. Onside play, just barely, as it's forced down low. Farmer takes this one away and gives to Matt Cook. Up the wall for Cherniak to sweep down the ice. This will go for icing here against the Cats, though, with 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining in the third. Make it 1:05. Face-off will be to the left, rather to the right of Austin Shaw, who just made a couple of big, strong saves to keep the Wildcats' 2-goal lead intact. Net empty, 2 hour left as Rio has pulled the goalie for an extra attacker, down by 2 in game one. Last minute of play in the period brought to you by La Quinta Inns and Suites as Wendling tries to dig it loose. Wendling, now it's Swingle behind the net. Out in front, backhand attempt here. Upended is Nielsen, and the Wildcats are going to get assessed a penalty. It's going to go against Subri. It'll be a tripping call against number 12, Paul Subri. So the Wildcats will be shorthanded for 46.8 seconds, barring a goal in that time. Subri having a couple of words with Farrell as he skates over to the box. This is not exactly the worst thing in the world for the Wildcats. Up by 2, because now, with no threat of icing, down a man on the Gilmore's Collision Center PK, they can just send it the length of the ice towards the empty net without any reservation. Just like that, Farmer wasn't able to clear it off the face-off. Held in here and touched up, so no hand pass, as this is Wendling towards the corner. It's Zumalitas now. Now Wendling, shot, save, loose puck, still it's loose, and Shaw makes a save on a follow-up from Wendling. 31.6 seconds remaining in the third. Big save there by Austin Shaw as Rio is pouring everything forward late on here in this third. They trail by 2 though, as 3 goals in this final frame has given the Wildcats a lead. Looking to claim game 1 of this South Division play-in series. Face-off is won back by the Wildcats. Knight sweeps this one around the wall. It'll be held in by Cummings at the left point. Down towards Wendling. Into the corner it goes for Crossan. He can't center there in the last 20. 4-2, the Wildcats still lead. Crossan behind the net. Someone has to get in front for Rio Grande Valley. Now it's sent towards the middle and spiked away to the back wall there by an alert stick for a Wildcat skater. Here's Crossan. One-timer blocked there bravely by Oakley. And another one-timer blocked there by Cummings. The Wildcats flip it into the neutral zone, and that'll do it. They will take game 1 here at the K. Yeager Coliseum, 4-2 over the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees. They spill off the bench and mob Austin Shaw, who was a busy boy in the last 6 minutes of this third period, but held strong for the Wildcats to take game 1. We'll step aside and come back and wrap it all up on the other side of the break. 4-2 win for the Wildcats gives them a 1-0 series lead in this best-of-3 first-round play-in series in the South Division. The Robertson Cup playoffs are underway here in the North American Hockey League, and the Wildcats have opened them with a win. We'll step aside and come back and break it all down on the other side of the break as Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing will conclude just after this here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Here at the K. Yeager Coliseum, putting the wrap on a Game 1 win for the Wildcats, 4-2 the final score. A game it looked like they might be heading towards defeated as they were down 2-1 entering the third, but they had 1:58 of power play time carrying into that third frame, and boy, did they capitalize it just as we said they were going to have to, and they were able to ride that tying goal to a third period 3-goal burst to carry them to a 4-2 win. Let's get to the scoring summary here before we step off air at the K. Yeager Coliseum, and the Wildcats got it going just 3 minutes and 7 seconds into the game. Kevin Sheridan played it up the ice for Evan Oakley and Nick Farmer. They skated into the offensive zone, turned the corner, and somehow had a 2-on-0. Oakley's centering feed from the bottom of the left wing circle was into the skates of Farmer just enough where Nick wasn't able to tap it home past Ben Johansson. However, Johansson wasn't able to hold on to the loose puck as Oakley dug it loose and flipped it over the goal line to make it 1-0. However, a couple of goals from Rio Grande Valley. First for Stathis Sumulidis unassisted. Next for Austin Swingle on the power play, after Kevin Sheridan had received a double minor for checking from behind and a game ejection. Able to score to make it 2-1, but that was the last bit of offense we saw from Rio Grande Valley on the night. After a scoreless second period, Nick Farmer would step up with a power play goal, 1:18 into the third. Assist from Cam Knight and Evan Oakley. Then later on, getting the game-winning goal, or what would eventually be the game-winning goal, Austin Albrecht, making it 3-2 as he was able to jam home a puck into the roof of the net on a great centering feed from his billet brother Konstantin Chernyuk. Then at 13:51, Colin Staub would add an insurance sally to make it 4-2. Again, Cam Knight providing the assist as the Wildcats came away with a 4-2 win. Getting the win in net tonight, his first career playoff victory, Austin Shaw makes 16 saves on 18 shots, and a number of them late on in that third period. He saved his best for last. Getting the loss, Ben Johansson, 31 saves on 35 shots on goal. Shots on goal, 35-18 in favor of the Wildcats in this contest. We'll be back for Game 2 tomorrow night, same time, same place. Wildcats will have an opportunity finish up a first-round sweep, while Rio Grande Valley will be looking to pick up a win to send it home to Hidalgo for a decisive Game 3 on Monday, April 6th. And I can guarantee you, everyone around the Wildcats is hoping that will not be the case. Anyway, next broadcast is tomorrow night, 7:05, 6:50 on the pregame right here on FastHockey.com and the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Until then, I'm Ben Horner saying thanks so much for joining us on this playoff edition of Wildcats Hockey presented by Armored Roofing. From all of us here at the Wichita Falls Wildcats, have a good night, everybody, and take care.